getting close to go time. He's got a really healthy-looking army. The next wave of upgrades is going to be done here. You can see weapons level 2 and armor level 2 is about to finish up. So it's time for him to push. And he's going to go right through the middle here.
Yeah, there's not too much creep, but he can easily clear that with a scan if he does want to, and will, of course, get that set up. Has his tanks in a better position this time to hopefully not get blinding clouded all too much. A couple of them will get off, but there's still a few tanks that are able to shoot. The Lings and Mage trying to filter on in, but the split from Bunny is pretty decent for now, so a much better engagement this time around compared to last game.
Yeah, I like the drop over here. This is going to draw some of the army away. The Roaches will be able to save this, forcing a pickup. Bunny not quite able to capitalize on this. He didn't feel confident enough with what he had to try to get in there and get a superior position. He was probably right, by the way, to do that. I don't think he actually has enough. I mean, an overextension would be fatal here. But at the same time, you know, Serral's kind of squeezed into these corners of the map, but Bunny with a strong center, he's not really benefiting from it. Now Serral has so much, he's going to just try to chase this all the way across the map. And I got to say, kind of weird to see Bunny not actually scooping his own units up with the Medivacs to get out. He's actually going to drop a couple Marauders there on the outside.
Yeah, he does get back home, which is the important part, so it saves most of his units. The fight went better for Bunny this time, but not enough so that he could actually continue this push. Serral still had a pretty decent engage, killed off a lot of the tanks in the engagement as well, which made it very difficult for Bunny to push any more forward. Didn't have the strong anchoring point compared to what he would hopefully have with all those tanks still alive, so did need to come back home, needs to get that fourth base set up, get his 3-3 going, but now Serral is on the hunt, and he wants to push this base down.
Yeah, he's going to move in here now. You can see that the kiting's pretty decent from Bunny. He still has a decent amount of surface area to try to work with. Serral comes in, and as he retreats, you can see he's already maxed out again. So a bunch more units are going to be hatching. That should allow him to wind up and come in for a second attack.
A lot of those Banelings actually got soaked up on a lot of Marauders, so nice movement there from Bunny to keep all the Marines safe and the Marauders in the front. Serral, unfortunately, wasn't actually paying attention to those Banelings as much as the other side, so wasn't able to get the juicy connections on the back end. So again, Bunny is keeping a lot of his units alive at this point. There is a gap in the wall, though, so these Zerglings will randomly find their way in, actually killing off the sensor towers, which is a pretty big deal. Having those alive to be able to see when these counter harasses come is very important, so we'll need to remake those and potentially also plug up that hole to make sure that that can't happen again. It's just a few Lings getting more than they really should.
Yeah, kind of a leaky boat position over there. Just not sealing that up. They can get right in there. By the way, Serral's just continuing to kind of engulf these corners of the map. And basically doing so without really being prevented very much by Bunny. Now he's going to counterattack over here. And Bunny is not able to repair this, and the fourth base is poked out. Now, this is massive because Serral is on so many bases now, and he's knocked Terran back down to 3.
It looks like a lot of the tanks on the right-hand side did get killed off. It was mostly Medivacs kind of in the transition period there, but Bunny was a bit out of position, not expecting Serral to actually attack on the left-hand side right there. So that planetary gets killed off pretty easily. Thankfully, he did evacuate with the SCVs to make sure that not a lot of those get killed off, but now they might as well, as the Banelings come on in to this third base, and 8 SCVs getting killed off, as well as a lot of those supply depots will actually supply block Bunny in this position, so that's a bit unfortunate as well. We'll be going in now with the rest of the units as they try to bust down this position yet again. Bunny is able to split back enough against a lot of these Banelings, but still the attack is going pretty okay for Serral, but will need to back up for now.
Yeah, he did a great job driving that back. You could see there's going to be some regrouping here. He's actually taken the command center from the main and basically thrown that into the fourth base. Bunny can still try to make this work. The problem is Serral has so much. Serral's still maxed out. Bunny going to try to force this up here.
A great pre-split, though, from Bunny is going to make this, again, very difficult for these Banelings to get the connections that they want. Get a couple of nice ones on the back end right there on the side. A lot of the supply, though, from Bunny is in Medivacs, and so much on the ground is just getting killed off, and Serral will take this 2-0 in our opening match.
Yeah, beautifully done by Serral. What can I say? He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT. An impressive showing. I don't know if that really came down to Bunny doing any one thing wrong.
A bit of an outclassing.
Yeah, I mean, Serral always masterful at basically using the right amount of everything. as the whole game goes, right? He always has the right amount of drones. He doesn't have too few. He doesn't have too many.
But yeah, it's a bit
kind of like the great tale of Goldilocks.
Serral is in fact
is just right.
Yeah, he literally is the Goldilocks.
He's the Goldilocks gamer.
But yeah, this was going to be kind of a hard match in general.
It's Goldilocks
for Bunny.
and the Three Little Bears, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Nice, you got
I'm
it.
like, what was that, Rapunzel and the bears with the soup? It's like, no, tasteless.
What about Snow White? I'm pretty sure, like, it eats the porridge and then...
Yeah,
okay. But
anyway,
anyway,
he lets his hair down. He climbs up the hair, right? I know my fables. No, but to be serious for a second, he just plays, like, basically perfectly. Bunny had his moments, but really wasn't able to do that much. So Serral's going to be taking game one.
Yeah.
Going to the winners portion of our event, our Group A here for day one of Season 6.
Yeah, also go ahead and check us out on YouTube and make sure to try to hype our videos. This is something that's kind of new to YouTube. I believe it's only possible on the mobile app as well. So check to see if you have this underneath our videos from the last week. Of course, there's not really too much of that just yet, but as the season goes on, these things will get uploaded. So check that out. It helps us out in the algorithm, of course. We want to get discovered as much as possible so we can be really cool, big StarCraft YouTubers like Harston, Loco, Winter, and all those cool people.
And Mr. Beast.
And
all of our
we want to be giving out thousands and millions of dollars
to people. We're trying to get out of this esports stuff and get into Mr. Beast stuff is what we're trying to do. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. We do appreciate it. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we're going to go on to our second match here in Group A of today's RSL.
It's going to work out for Hero. War Prism is going into natural expansion.
Welcome on back. As I kept hearing state in my ears for a second. Welcome on back, everybody. Our first match is all done. We're going to be going into our next one as well, which is going to be Beyond versus GG Machine. GG Machine has made it on back, and Sturgeon has also made it on back to the desk. Welcome, my wonderful Zerg friend.
Oh, it is good to be back in Season 6. We have the GOAT here today, Serral, showing up, putting in some workman-like StarCraft, you know, making it look easy as always. Just casually 2-0s Bunny. Moves on to that winner match. We've got another TVZ coming up to see who will join him and who will fall to the losers match.
Yes, it's going to be hopefully a pretty interesting one, of course, but GG Machine is one of the newer players that has been joining some of these tournaments lately. He's been on the up and up. Last time we saw him in Season 5, and he unfortunately had a bit of a rough showing, of course, being thrown into essentially the group of death, which was a bit awful. But this time, he gets a slightly lesser group in terms of Serral. So, you know.
It's still a very tough group, but I was just thinking just now back to his first showing in the RSL, and while he lost kind of, you could say, convincingly score-wise, I do think some of his games showed a lot of promise.
Yeah.
He obviously has really good mechanics. He's a very young guy, always improving, leveling up his game. So I'll have to see what he's going to bring to the table here as he goes up against Björn, kind of a monster in TVZ. We've got our 3 maps here at Eternity's Edge, Ruby Rock, and the Acropolis for this set.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one for sure. Let's jump on into at Eternity's Edge as our first map is going to be Beyond versus GG Machine. Let's see what's going down.
Yeah, none of the wild 4-player maps making it into this set, but that's okay with me. We get to see some more regular, you know, StarCraft. See what GG Machine is doing in this matchup as he spawns in the top left as the red Zerg, and Björn down here in the bottom right as the blue Terran. Nope, got that the wrong way around.
Interesting shade of
well,
blue.
I'm colorblind. We got this new light in the studio. It's this red light. It's throwing me off.
Making everything look purple.
Björn is in the red. GG Machine is in the blue. Okay, we did it.
Oh my goodness.
That was okay because on the 8 worker start, we got to fill this time, man. We got to talk about something.
There needs to be something, some kind of content to talk about because I mean, all this variety, man. And we've got so much variety now.
Overwhelming variety.
I know. I can't wait to see what happens. But yeah, last series, of course, we saw some interesting stuff. I mean, it was mostly just this is so confusing having Bunny and Beyond in the same. I hate this in the same group. It's so difficult. Anyways, Bunny was able to do a CC first in the first game, and then just did some normal rack stuff. This time for Beyond, it looks like he's actually going to be doing also a CC first, as this barracks still has yet to be placed, and he's got lots of minerals getting saved up as well. So we'll be going for that, as GG Machine will be going for that 15 pool, which seemed, I think it was 15, or maybe it was earlier. What's the standard? What's the standard Zerg thing now?
Yeah, 16 pool, 17 hatch is kind of the normal timing these days. You can still go hatch first in this matchup, but one thing that's changed with the 8 worker start is hatch first is pretty risky against proxies.
Okay.
Especially proxy reapers. There's like a 20-second window where the Reaper can be in your base before you even have your pull done. So going pull first is a little bit safer against those proxy Reaper builds. So that's why Zergs are starting to go pull first again. And it doesn't slow you down too much economically compared to a hatch first. Obviously, hatch first is a little bit better. But your gas will be a little bit later as the Zerg.
Thank you, Mr. Zerg Professor. This is helping me so much.
Yeah.
I need you here. Please help my dumb Protoss brain.
Yeah, I had a ladder game the other day where I got proxy 2 rags. Then I had no units for like 20 seconds. Like, do I fight this with drones? And then I was like, no, I'm going to go pull first from now on. So it does make sense. It's just a little bit safer. You're not going to die in the first couple minutes of the game. And you're also not going to be too far behind. He's actually going to make 4 lings and send them out across the map. Not just going to be defensive with this pool. We do see Bjorn's made his CC in the main base, though, so won't be able to kill the worker making that CC and deny it. GG Machine must be a bit curious what's going on right now as he doesn't see the CC on the low ground.
Oh, he doesn't go deep enough either to really see exactly what's going on. So we'll just, of course, get that information slightly later as the lings do come on up. But it would have been nice, of course, if he was able to get that information. But these lings will find their way right on in. There's no wall set up, as one ling will get sent onto that SCV, onto the factory, and then everything else tries to go poke away at the SCVs on the right. Has he seen the command center yet? I feel like he still hasn't seen that, but he might be able to just put the pieces together based on, of course, how late everything is anyways. But he's got the scout, so knows exactly what's going on. Nice little poke there from GG Machine. We'll be able to react accordingly.
Yeah, indeed. Good to get that information. Otherwise, if you don't know if there's a CC or not, it could be anything coming out of the Terran. You could be being proxied. It could be like factory, right after the barracks, something crazy, some double gas build. So good to get that info. We'll go down and land this CC here momentarily. Everything looking pretty normal on the side of GG Machine. He's got his 3rd hatch going down. He's got his speed on the way. He's droning up, getting his queens. Spreading a bit of creep. All the good early game Zerg stuff.
What's the general mid-game looking like for Zerg in this matchup overall? We saw Serral go for a bit of a Roach early game defense into the Ling Bane and then eventually into that fast Viper for the Blinding Clouds and stuff like that. Is that seeming like the more normal style for Zerg in this current patch, or is that like just a Serral thing?
No, I think Roach styles definitely still work very well. I think Mutalisks are good now as well, maybe even slightly better. We saw Serral use that against Clem at Home Story Cup. To great effect. I think most of the styles still work, honestly. I don't think it's like a crazy new unit comp is coming out here or anything like that. You can kind of play the way you want to. It's just a lot of the timings have changed with the overlords and stuff like that.
Got lots more larva now.
Yeah, we've got that extra lava, so it's a little bit more difficult in the beginning with the the hatch being 300 and queen being 175. But then in the early mid game and the mid game when you get that extra lava coming in, Zerg has definitely got a little bit stronger there for sure.
Looks like that Overlord actually does survive until the medevac does come along, so we'll be able to kill that off. A bit of a supply block for now, as a couple more Overlords are not quite ready yet for GG Machine. But Bjorn is now going to be setting himself up to do a little bit of harassment with his couple Hellions in the middle, and then that medevac full of those Marines. So this is the style that Bjorn is so known for, going for this early attack, going for the many different attacks on different sides and whatnot. Really likes to multi-prong, so we'll see how much damage he's able to do. Got the Liberator following up as well, so it's going to only help him to potentially get as many drones as possible.
Yeah, he's taking a 3rd CC behind this, going to try and harass as much as he can, get ahead, whilst macroing up back at home. I like the way GG Machine is going for the single Carapace upgrade here, getting that 1 armor to reduce the damage of this Marine heavy opener. These Marines will get that Overlord, pick up and get out of there with no losses. He sent his Hellions around the side, but hasn't committed them just yet. Going to, for now, be content with getting all these Overlords that are spread across the map here. Another one goes down.
Well, the Hellions got caught in the middle of the map, actually. The Zerglings were able to surround them, so a very nice catch from GG Machine. Unfortunately, loses the drone that was hiding out there to take that 4th base, so that will get delayed for a moment. But honestly, a very good defense so far from GG Machine, getting those Hellions for just a couple of Zerglings, able to, never mind, I was going to say get this 4th base up, but unfortunately getting that canceled from the reaggress from Bjorn, and now the Liberator coming into the main base looks like it is completely unaware from GG Machine, so that's going to start getting some more drone kills as well.
Yeah, he's got 2 things to worry about right now, and we'll take out this Liberator, but not before 6 drones go down. Bjorn's harass looking excellent so far in this early game. We'll lose the Liberator. But I mean, the work count is almost even here, so I think Bjorn will be happy with his situation right now.
I just realized 3 Overlords got killed off as well in total from the Marines moving around. So actually, that's going to be a pretty big investment as well for GG Machine, having to remake those. And you can even see for now the drone count is not able to spike up just yet. It's basically even at this point. A couple in the production tab as GG Machine is also being forced to double expand to try and get back from what this harassment has done to him. And this is going to be seeming like Beyond feeling pretty comfortable so far in this series. I mean, he is obviously the clear favorite. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat that in any way, but yeah. I think this is definitely what Beyond is looking for in this series.
Yeah, the third base now will go over and land there shortly. GG Machine going for a quick infestation pit at the same time as his Baneling speed. Going to be able to get his tech going nice and early here, making a lot of Marines, a lot of Lings right now. As this CC lands and the Ling spots that, we'll have to see if he wants to be aggressive here. He is going back into drones right now, but he's only at 60 workers right now. I feel like you want to be a little bit higher in the near future as we go past 7 minutes. Getting his upgrades on the way, 2 at a time here, 2 hatcheries, as you said. And Beyond controlling this watchtower in the middle.
Yeah, some Banelings getting morphed in here from GG Machine to try and defend this push. Of course, you're going to need a good amount of those. 1-1's going to be timing out very nicely for this, for Beyond to go for this double medevac drop. Harassment, getting another Overlord, and we'll try to poke on into this base. He's got a couple of Widow Mines with him as well, and those have been buffed recently in the Terran Arsenal too, so that could potentially get some nice damage as GG Machine tries to bait them out, but unable to do so, and a nice target fire onto those Banelings from Beyond with that Widow Mine. We'll be able to clear that up very nicely.
That retarget was so good, focusing down the more expensive Banelings there, picks off a ton of them. While these Marines go to work on this mineral iron, they're going to get the Spore Crawler. We'll have to pick up soon. Okay, he's actually going to get cleared up there. Attacking this hatchery as well, though. There's fires being to put out all over the map for GG Machine right now.
Yeah, this is getting really difficult right now. Everything is going all over the place for him. He's trying to get a couple of infestors out to help lock down some of these medevacs and just in general lock down the Marines with some fungals, but it's still a little bit ways out for now as these medevacs still have room to move and will continue to do so, just dropping right back into the natural yet again, pulling all these Zerglings over to the left-hand side as he's got another set of units on the right. Going to be able to kill off this base if he's able to focus fire it down nice and quickly enough, and that will definitely be a kill.
Yeah, not enough Zerg over here right now. If he clicks it, it will go down, but decides to shave off a few Zerglings first. This double drop still here. The Infestor spawns, gets a good fungal, but where's the follow-up? Lings, here they come now. But that hatchery's already fallen. This is big damage for Beyond.
I feel like this is unrecoverable damage right now from GG Machine. It's looking like he's really struggling to get any sort of defense set up for any of this. There's a couple Lings doing a counterattack on the bottom side. Actually, Baneling's getting quite a lot of SCV, so a very nice counterattack. But unfortunately, that's essentially all of GG Machine's army. He's got really nothing to actually defend. It's going to be a GG. Beyond taking a very swift game number 1.
Yeah, masterclass there and multitasking, just hitting GG Machine in 2 places for about 5 minutes in a row there. Just double drop here, Liberator there, main army going this way. A lot for GG Machine to deal with. And I was just thinking about the new change, the medevac, load button.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a big buff to someone like Beyond who likes to play this kind of style? Or do you think he's so good at picking stuff up that it doesn't affect him much anyway?
Yeah, I don't know how much it affects him, but I kind of see your point that, yeah, it's going to make it a bit easier overall. I feel like it really makes it easier when you're in those like panic situations, when you're like about to get surrounded, and then you can just kind of just lift everything right on up. It's like a vacuum cleaner, just picks them all up and then just runs away. I saw that in one of the Home Story Cup games. I can't remember exactly who it was that was playing, but they got fully surrounded by everything, and then just everything just instantly loads into every single medevac and was able to save the game kind of from that. So I feel like in those situations it's quite powerful. I feel like in the the little 2 medevac situations, I feel like Beyond's just going to be, his mechanics are pretty good.
Yeah, he's fast enough to do it even without the button. So, I mean, it's just another little thing that may help, like you say, when you have tons of stuff to pick up. But, yeah, very impressive game number 1 there from Beyond. I feel like GG Machine just couldn't really get his eco where he wanted, couldn't get rolling, got that 4th base denied too many times. And then Beyond just able to win with a big push there at the end.
Yep, about what we expect in this matchup. Unfortunately, GG Machine, again, is the clear underdog. But let's see if he can put some fight up here on Ruby Rock. Let's see if he can bring something back. Because I feel like last time as well, in the last season, the first game was a bit rough. He got kind of battered down. But then the second game in his first series, he really actually gave a pretty good showing against his opponent, who I can't actually remember who it was. But
I think it was Classic. It was one of the Protosis,
It was, yes. Yeah, I think it was either Classic or Zound, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that. But anyways, it was a very good showing in the second game. So So let's see if he can rebound here.
Yeah, he's definitely very, very fast. Like, once he gets into that mid game in a good spot, he can do all the run-bys, all the multitasking, that good stuff. We have a quick SCV moving across the map,
Two of
as
them,
well
actually.
as another one going to join up with his buddy down there.
Oh, what kind of mischief are these two up to? I can only wonder. It's this so-called variety we've been
is that
looking for.
variety? We haven't seen this strategy in a while as 2 racks are going to go down. This is kind of the Beyond specialty, I feel like. He very often throws some proxies into a series, just kind of check the Zerg, you know, check if they're on point, and
It's a good old skill check.
yeah, and very often it just works. I think back to that series against Rogue, where he did it twice in a row.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Season 6 of the RSL. It's day 1 of the playoffs. I'm State. I'm here with Gemini. It's good to be back, Jemmy.
Yeah, welcome back from Caster Purgatory State. We've brought you back here. It's been a nice couple weeks, but it's nice to have you back here for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fun day 2. Serral versus SHIN to start things out, and then we're going to have Hero playing later versus Solar. 2 best-of-5s to kick off the playoffs. And I'm just really excited. These are going to be the first games that I actually cast on the new patch. And I was excited to do this at the very beginning, but since then we've had like 2 more patches. They just keep tinkering with all of these little knobs here in StarCraft 2, and it's going to be fun to break this thing down.
Absolutely. Here's the playoff bracket that we've got for you for this week and next week. It's going to be Clem and Beyond. It's going to be Serral, SHIN, Hero, Solar, and Rogue Lambo as the matches. We're going to be doing 2 of them today, like you mentioned. Serral, SHIN, Hero, Solar will be today, and then tomorrow we'll be going into those other 2 matchups, the ZVZ and the TVT.
Yeah, it's a lot of mirror matchups here to start out the day 1 of the playoffs as we take a look at the Season 6 schedule. We're coming at you every single weekend all the way through August 9th. And of course, the grand finals of RSL Season 6 will be happening live at BlizzCon September 13th with Tastos' casting. That is going to be so much fun.
Oh my god, yes. That is going to be absolutely wonderful. So as you can see, this is just all the breakdown that we've got right now. It is the 25th, so we are going to be doing the upper bracket quarters, and then we continue on. There's a couple days where there's just like a couple matches, a little bit less, but that's just because, again, we have to do the grand finals over at BlizzCon, so a couple days might be a little bit shorter overall, but regardless, this is when everything's going live, and as we can see in the oh, it's the South Pole. Oh, nice. We've got the South Pole now as well. So any of the researchers down there can easily know when the RSL should be going live. So that's perfect. Thank you, Ziggy. That's a good addition.
NZST. What does that even stand for? NZST. Amundsen Scott. Oh, New Zealand.
Oh.
What is that? I know T's time. New Zealand Standard Time? Do they go by Kiwi time down there?
Oh, so they just take the New Zealand time. Every time zone. That's true. I guess,
exactly. That's right.
Oh, well, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I guess New Zealand's quite close. Yeah, I wouldn't think that New Zealand is 3 hours ahead of us. Because I know Australia, I have a lot of friends that are on the east coast of Australia. They're basically the same time zone as us here in Korea. I don't know that New Zealand is actually that far to the east. But in any case, wherever you are in the world, or at least for a good section of it, you can look on screen, find out when we are going live, and we hope you tune in.
Yes. And thank you, of course, to our official partner who's been with us from the very beginning, Archon Studios. They're absolutely incredible. Their minifigures are super fun to see and play with and paint if you are one of the painters as well. Ziggy has been painting all of these every single day. The Nidus that he painted up looks very nice and everything. So check these things out. They're awesome. Check out the website for Archon Studios so you can go ahead and get yourself some. They look really good. They're perfectly the same as what you would see in the cutscenes and in the game. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, support Archon Studios and also support the Patreon here at the RSL. There are a ton of perks, not just what you see on screen, but really the best ones for me, voting on the maps. You guys have been spectacular at that. I was really skeptical at the very beginning of RSL. A year ago, we were talking about having the fan votes in for the maps, and I kind of had this perspective, which was wrong, by the way, where I was like, no, let's just keep the ladder maps. It's what the pros are going to be on. It's where we're going to get the best maps because, you know, they know how to play on the maps. But the shakeup of having these community-voted maps into the pool has been so much fun. It's created a lot of unique situations. It's just been a blast. You guys are awesome. So if you're a Patreon supporter, thank you. If you're not, we invite you to join us.
Yes, join us. So you can also get a 20% discount from our merch site, tastelessthreads.com. Oh my gosh, look at that. Beautiful shirt you can see right there with the incredible portrait of Tasteless and Artosis. You can wear that to the BlizzCon finals as the RSL finals are happening there, and you can get them to sign it, and it could look really funny. And then, of course, all the other RSL stuff is over there and other gamer swag.
Every time I see the Artosis face on that portrait, it just looks a little bit more sad to me. You know,
it's like eyes
progressively
like falling out of his
getting
head.
more and more sad. Anyway, folks, we are still trying to grow the RSL YouTube, and even though it's been, what, a year and a half, 2 years now that we've been putting on the show here at the RSL, it's still quite small. And even now, we have people that come into the YouTube chat, and in the comments, they'll say that, you know, it's their first time actually finding the RSL. And so we invite you to go there, subscribe, click the like button, just interact with it whichever way is convenient for you, because it really does help us get into the algorithm and help share Revive SC2 with more fans of StarCraft on the YouTube space.
Absolutely. And we're going to be getting into our first match of the day, a ZVZ, Serral versus SHIN. Coming on up, it's a best of 5. We got 5 great maps here, starting with Voidstorm, going to Eternity's Edge, Old Sun Temple, Necropolis, and then Fear and Faith to round it all out, if we do get to that. Map number 5. What are we expecting here, Mr. Stay? Because I feel like we are looking at a very one-sided matchup overall. SHIN has only beaten Serral once in their careers, so this is going to be a bit tougher for him, I think.
Hey, SHIN, he might have only beaten Serral once, but it's a new patch. Things are different. Different map pool as well, as we're starting out here on Voidstorm. It's Serral versus SHIN starting out today with the best of 5. And I'm excited to get into this one.
Yeah, let's see what kind of stuff is getting cooked up here in this ZVZ. As we saw a couple of them last couple weeks as well, we've got lots of Zergs in this particular tournament. We've switched up the narrative here, State. We are no longer a Protoss-dominant tournament, and we now have a bunch of Zergs coming in as well. So all the people that have been, you know, in a drought of Zergs in the last couple of months from our tournaments, well, they're eating pretty good this season so far.
Yeah, the floodgates are open. Zergs have been unleashed here in the RSLs. It's, what, 4 or 5 in the top 8 so far here in the playoffs?
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a ton. And is that was that a 11 or 12 pool? I actually missed it. I think it was a 12 pool coming in here
12,
for SHIN.
yeah.
Huh. You know, I was watching Homestory Cup, and I think that was the majority of the ZVZ games that I've actually seen on the recent patches, because, you know, as a Protoss player trying to figure out the 8-worker start, plus all the balance changes that came through over the past couple of weeks, I've mostly been watching the Protoss games, you know? Just trying to really figure what is going on.
Yeah, when a new patch hits, I essentially just think this game is a one-race game. Like,
yeah,
I'm like,
I mean, you got to figure it out.
I'm watching my own my own race plays, so.
Yeah, it's been interesting to me, because at Homestory Cup, we saw a lot of 10 pools. I can't remember if it was Raynor or Serral or a mix of them both.
I think they were
was
both
just
doing it.
Really loving the 10 pool play there at the Homestory Cup, but it seemed very effective. And I was even talking with Sorta for a little while, the Swedish Zerg player, before heading into the RSL today about ZVZ, and he said that it feels very coin flippy in the early game. You never really know exactly what's going to happen. Maybe that's a factor of the 8-worker start. Maybe it's a factor of, you know, the Zerg economy being a little bit different in the early game. You kind of need to spend larvae very quickly, but hatcheries are slightly more expensive. So it's hard to really afford queens in the early game, which means that aggression might be more potent. I'm curious how things are going to go. And so here in game number 1 between SHIN and Serral, it is that 12 pool coming in here for SHIN. So far, a lot of Lings in production. I want to say about a dozen or so already on the map, as he's going to be looking to get the cancel on the hatchery here for Serral.
It's kind of interesting as well, because SHIN has actually taken his natural at the 3rd base location, and to Serral, this looks like a very committed 1 base all-in from his point of view. You can see the Overlord is just sitting there, sees no natural. He did not see the drone move past there. So right now, he's seeing all these Lings streamline across the map. You can see him. He's making 2 Spine Crawlers in his main base as well right now. He really thinks that SHIN is going for an absolute all-in against him, but he's only made these few Lings, and he's starting up drones behind it while taking that natural, forcing the cancel of Serral, and now he's in an excellent position, actually, because the double Spine Crawler was made. One of them is finished. Serral realizing in time and does cancel one of them at least. So now SHIN is going to be pretty good here. The only downside, of course, is that he hasn't had gas this whole time. So speed is going to be a little bit faster for Serral.
Yeah, it'll be like 30 or 40 seconds faster here for Serral, I think. So Shin gonna have a little bit of a disadvantage in that regard, but this is honestly quite a brilliant build. I figure by now Serral has figured out what is going on, because certainly those minerals, they had to go somewhere. He's already scouting for the third base location. He first checks the triangle there here in the center of the map. Now he is moving towards the 9 o'clock expansion. So Serral does have a gist of this, but already Shin's kind of thrown a wrench into the works. He's got the cancel on that hatchery. Shin is beginning to mine from that natural expansion now. But my question is, will Shin actually be able to defend against this? He's going to have to do it with Pure Ling against what will soon be Speedling with Banelings.
Yeah, this is a great response, I think, from Serral, noticing what exactly has been going on in this game, realizing what his power spike is with that fast speed. And yeah, Shin has not, and he literally just starts it right now. Like, that is actually so late. Serral's is finishing his at the same time, basically, as when Shin starts his. So that is going to be a massive window for Serral to abuse, and you can see that he's really going to lean into it, making a bunch of Zerglings right now. The Baneling Nest will be finishing up very quickly here. And so he's going to definitely put the aggression on. And like you said, Shin is basically just going to be trying to survive with a couple queens, just some slow lings, and he's getting the Baneling Nest of his own as well.
Oh, did Shin actually spot the Baneling Nest? I think he did. He's already beginning Zergling production. Spinecrawler has started. He did spot the Baneling Nest, so Baneling Nest for Shin underway, but we're still about 35 seconds away from speed being done. Now, how aggressive is Serral going to get with this? We're looking at the second expansion here for Shin. There's a Spinecrawler in the mineral line about to finish up. Baneling Nest is also here, kind of forging a wedge for that queen, just a little corridor that it can hide in. And already the Banelings are starting to morph in.
Yeah, these Baneling connections need to be huge, of course, for Serral, and Shin is going to have to do everything he can to keep his Zerglings from getting clumped up and getting massive connections from those Banelings. A couple of his are now starting to morph on in, but here they do come. For a split second, it looked like Shin was going to walk right into them, but now here comes Serral into the main base, or into the main mineral line, killing off that Spinecrawler nice and easily, and a lot of the Banelings for Shin unable to do too much. One of them gets some decent connection right there, but the rest of these from Serral are still waiting for those big juicy shots.
Yeah, Serral being very conservative with these Banelings. He wants to get the big connections onto the Zerglings, not just spend these on the Banelings. And so finally, Shin able to diffuse that situation. He's able to deal with the Banelings here at the natural expansion. He's going to start droning up again. Serral, on his side of the map, he's still making lings, so the pressure is not over just yet. +1 Carapace is also about halfway done here for our red Zerg player.
Yeah, the +1 upgrade there for Serral is actually going to be really good. You can see that he didn't plan for this to be a total all-in. He wanted to have some sort of thing on the back end as well to be able to transition into. Knowing that Shin is going to have to really respect the aggression that's going to be coming out of him, probably won't be able to sneak in an Evo Chamber of his own. So now that one is going to really help Serral continue on into this game, as both players have equal worker counts during this point. So Serral, with a couple more drone snipes, is able to come out in a pretty nice position in that regard as well. So I think Serral is navigating the situation very well, and he's kind of adapted based on the kind of wonky build that Shin threw at him. And he's doing it in a way that sets him up very nicely to continue on and just kind of keep the tempo going in his favor.
Yeah, I like the position of Serral a lot. Shin hasn't even been able to take that natural expansion just yet. You know, he just has this expansion all the way over here at the 9 o'clock. It's a very tricky position to defend, even with Speedlings, which are, the fastest units in the game right here. And with +1 Carapace now done for Serral, I really like Serral's odds of trying to get some more damage done if that is the way he wants to go with this. You see him sending a couple of lings here into the main base, a couple of lings into the second expansion, and he's trading those out quite well. 3 drones falling here for Shin. Serral, he's faster on the third base timing. He's faster taking up into the Roach Warren. He's already beginning +1 range weapons with Carapace fully researched before we have any upgrades coming out for Shin. So no matter which way you look at it, Serral's ahead right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's winning in every regard. His third base is about to finish up soon as well. The Roach Warren's already finished and is making roaches, whereas Shin's is not even halfway done just yet. You can see the income advantage has been very good for Serral throughout this early game as well. So yeah, just great navigation from him in this wonky game. And for now, it looks like Shin is going to try to go ahead and pressure this third base. The Banelings are all just walking past each other, trying to get the best connections that they can. Both players being extremely patient with these Banelings until eventually they find what they want. Keeping those Zerglings as far away as possible. That was such a weird looking engagement. Nothing really happened, but looks like Shin's gonna walk away not really finding what he wanted.
Yeah, and I wonder where you go here as Shin. I think you just have to send it with Roaches here on hashtag. You know, you have no evolution chamber upgrades. By now, he certainly knows. Oh, that was a huge bailing hit, by the way, there for Shin, catching a lot of Serral's lings. You know that you're far behind versus the evolution timings of Serral. I don't think you can try and play a macro game out of this. I mean, we do have the evolution chamber now coming in here for Shin, but I think he needs to get damage done in the short term if he wants any chance to survive in the mid game versus Serral.
Yeah, you can see he's only sitting at 37 drones, so he's really just going hard into the army right now. Serral, on the other hand, did kind of cut a little bit. He went into a decent amount of drones. He's only just now started to get more of these roaches out as he starts to put the pieces together and realizing that he does need a few more units out on the field right now. He's also sending his lings around to try and distract and also get some more information, but the roaches from Shin are already at his front door. He needs to make this stand right now.
Yeah, Shin is starting to push into the third base here for Serral. The drones are getting pulled, but the bailing's going to shoo them away back into the natural expansion, back into the mining line. And Shin getting a full surround on the roaches. Is this going to be enough to actually break the defenses of Serral?
Yeah, it's going to be really close. The reinforcements are going to be coming much faster, though, from Serral. He's doing a really good job of using those drones on the left-hand side to deal with some of the lings and reinforcements. And the roaches and queens over on the right-hand side able to help out with the reinforcements coming on in. And that +1/+1 really doing dividends here for Serral's army. And you can see Shin is just starting to peter out.
I mean, it was an excellent push, but just not able to get enough damage done. Serral had just enough to defend against it, and those 1-1 upgrades really pulled their way to that fight in the third.
Yeah, the 1-1 was really helping a lot for Serral. It seemed like for a moment that Shin might be able to overwhelm just because he had such a larger army coming in as the surprising attack. But Serral just needed a couple moments just to kind of recoup, just needed to take those couple seconds, just move the drones around, make sure he gets all his reinforcements coming out, and then those +1/+1 upgrades really start to shine.
You know, Serral might have won that game number 1, but that was a really fun build that Shin deployed. I haven't actually seen a variant quite like that one, where you go for a pool like a 12 pool, and you go for the cancel on your opponent's hatchery, and then you hide your natural expansion, or your second base, I should say. It was a really smart move, because there was a moment where Serral was overreacting to it. He was going for the double spine crawler. He was, you know, he had to cancel the hatchery there, the natural expansion. It seemed like he was hunkering down, preparing for whatever the follow-up would have been, whether it's like speed and bailings or something like that coming out from Shin. But Serral, he's just a little bit too smart. You know, he could tell, even if you're going for this, I would have seen at least the lings or the hatchery by now. You're clearly hiding an expansion. I mean, the pace at which Serral was able to identify that and start scouting for where the base is hidden was really impressive to me. He even had it in time to cancel the second spine crawler, which made a very big difference. I mean, 100 minerals in the spine crawler plus the drone in the early game, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Serral's ability to just identify exactly what's going on in seemingly every situation is what makes him such a high caliber player, and essentially the GOAT, as I will say, as Artosis is not here, so I will not be reprimanded for that. So that's nice. Anyways, game number 2 is coming on in. It's going to be Eternity's Edge for this one, with Shin on the top left-hand side and Serral over on the bottom right.
And I wonder if we're going to have any more early pools coming in from these guys. It was the 12 pool there for Shin in game number 1.
It doesn't look like anything just quite yet, but I guess we could still see a 12 pool coming on out from either of them. But I feel like Serral overall is someone that, of course, likes to react. I think he's just really good at coming out with, you know, just good reactions, like we just saw that last game. He seems like he's just able to read no matter what happens. And I feel like there was a point in time as well in ZVZ, like years ago, where Serral was so famous for just always getting the scout off with lings in the middle of the map, in the middle of the game as well, just sending them to get the layer timings to see exactly what the drone counts were. And he was so good at getting all that information all the time. So I think those types of games are really where he shines, and I think he should definitely lean into that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also think that it's probably the ideal way to play Zerg. If you're a player of Serral's caliber, you know, why would you risk going for some kind of early pressure, which might just get blind countered, or if it gets scouted, suddenly your opponent can just concoct the answer to it, and then you're playing behind. If you can play like a superhuman like Serral, this is probably the way to do it, where you react to what your opponent's doing, you solve the puzzles that they are throwing at you, and you come out on top as a result. That's what Serral did in game number 1. Is Shin, you know, he set up a pretty tricky play, hiding his first expansion, trying to feign a turbo all-in. But Serral was smart enough to actually devise a plan that could deal with it and identify the situation fast enough. And so Serral here in game number 2, he's continuing to play a little bit more conservative than his opponent. You know, Shin went for the hatch first. For Serral, it's a pool first into the hatch and the gas. So a nice, safe, conservative opening here for our finish at Zerg.
Yeah, definitely. He's not like rushing out Zerglings or anything like this with this fast pool. Just trying to make sure he's got everything out at the nice timings. Getting the queens out a little bit earlier just in case that Shin might be trying to go for something aggressive again himself. And Serral will be feeling pretty good about the situation that he's got himself in. Sure, his hatchery is going to be a little bit later, but you know, the pro players are not doing this in a... They're not like going to be behind because of this, obviously. They know how these early game interactions work. They know that, you know, they'll cut certain things, but then get ahead in other ways as well. So Serral will be totally fine with this situation.
I wonder how different it actually is economically for both players, too. You know, it's something I'd be more familiar with a 12-worker start.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Here in the 8-worker start, the math is a little bit different because Shin is getting more larva. You know, the larva generation at hatcheries is faster now. And so Shin getting that hatchery done at the natural expansion faster, it's going to be a boost. But Serral, he's also getting the injects a lot faster going for the pool first opening. Sure. And so I'm curious exactly how this is going to line up. You see right now when the first inject pops, it's 6 drones being queued up here for Serral. It might not be too much of an investment here, or too much of a lack of investment here for Serral going for the pool first.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Shin also has made another hatchery at his natural. He's going for what looks like a style that Rogue was doing a lot, even in the pre-patch, where he was going for that hatchery at the front, and then he was going for a fast Evo Chamber and Roach Warren, and then going to this fast 2-base layer style Roach speed, either all in or just a defensive play. And Serral also going for a fast lair himself, despite not going for the hatchery or the fast Roach Warren. So some interesting builds coming from both. Okay, there he does throw down those two eventually anyway. So just slightly different ways of getting to essentially the same spot. But you can see that Serral's really just kind of skyrocketed ahead in the economy. Shin has really cut some drones at this point in the game. Is he just going to be going for a straight 2-base Roach all-in off of 3 hatcheries?
He might. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is right now here for Shin. Yeah, okay, 7 roaches get started. So he was pooling larvae for a little while there. That's why we had such a significant dip in the drone count. And this is something that Rogue, as you mentioned, has been doing for quite a while in ZBZ, even pre-patch. He was going into this hatchery at the front, and you know, typically you would see this like, oh, you're playing turbo defensive, or you're going to be doing a Ling-based style. It seems like you're telegraphing your opponent exactly what you're doing. Well, Rogue showed that you can actually play a variety of styles behind this forward hatchery, and so this might be catching Serral by surprise.
Yeah, well, that Overseer is going to see exactly what's happening. He sees all of these roaches walking across the map. So now Serral is fully aware of what exactly Shin is doing, needs to prepare back at home, fully walls off the natural, making sure that nothing can just walk right on in. Starts to get a couple Ravagers himself while just getting as many units out that he can. And right now, Shin is going to be trying to batter down this front door.
Yeah, Shin going to try and break through that first evolution chamber. It will fall. Roaches have to dodge back, though. The Bile's coming down. Roach is trying to get the connections right now on the Queen. Good micro coming in here by Serral. The transfuse on that Queen in the front, and it is just enough to defend. You know, Shin, he was down to 29 drones. He cut so much economy to try to make this push happen, but Serral's just defending this with flying colors.
Yeah, it feels like Serral didn't even do anything to be able to defend against this. He just made a bunch of units that he just kind of would have been making anyways because he was going for a 2-base build regardless. It wasn't like he was going for a very fast 3rd base, which maybe this type of build might have done a little bit better against because you can then at least cancel the 3rd base and then they're kind of stuck in this weird 2-base situation while you maybe take a 3rd yourself. But yeah, that was just a very clinical hold from Serral. It didn't feel like he was sweating whatsoever.
Yeah, that was just such an effective hold. I'm shocked, and behind it too, I'm quite sure it got canceled. Serral was even building a 2nd Roach Warren at some point because he was expecting the Roach Warren at the front to be killed there by Shin. Yeah. And he knew that he needed to produce roaches to defend if it was a very effective push. And so in theory, Serral probably could have had even more units out. He could have had a couple of spines out if he needed, but in typical Serral fashion, just mustering the perfect amount of forces to defend. And Shin has to go back to the drawing board, and I'm not sure where you go from here. So much economy was sacrificed to go for that 29 drone Roach Ling push, and he hasn't been able to close that gap with Serral now. But that's because Serral, it seems like, is charging up for an attack of his own.
Yeah, I do wonder if Shin should have made a little bit of effort to try and bypassed the overlords in the middle of the map. There was actually, if he had stayed on the high ground and gone all the way around the blue sections of the map instead of the lower ground area, there was no vision on that side whatsoever. So there could have been more of a chance for a surprise attack. Of course, it does take longer to get there, so that's kind of the pro and con you have to weigh a little bit. But regardless, unable to get that surprise attack going very far. For now, Serral is going to be trying to pressure this third base, and this is looking like it's got really little to defend it from SHIN's side.
I mean, the third hatchery just finished. There's been no production boon here for SHIN just yet. As SHIN's going to try and push in, and SHIN doesn't have roach speed just yet. +1 missile attacks also not finished. Serral with both of those upgrades just able to maneuver his army and dish out even more damage than his opponent. And SHIN at this front line is really starting to thin out.
Yeah, this is a very one-sided engagement. Not even the reinforcement advantage is going to come to SHIN's favor at this point, as Serral just has so many units streamlining across the map, and he's getting on top of absolutely everything. SHIN is dipping so far down in supply. Gets one little Ravager for his troubles, but that is basically going to be that. It's going to be a Serral 2-0 start to this series. There it goes. SHIN just giving it a couple extra seconds to meditate on that one. But yeah, Serral looked like he had absolutely no worries whatsoever that entire game.
I want to go back and watch that hold again at the natural expansion, because it looked like it was going to be a really effective push coming out from SHIN. You know, the build order, it seemed like it was pretty tight. He went hatch first, which on paper it should be a little bit more greedy than Serral. You know, Serral eventually was able to equalize the drone count, but going for the hatch first. Our observer Mapu pointed out there is this brief window where you actually do have more drones that are mining. So you are a little bit ahead economically. And I thought, okay, well, SHIN, if you leverage that into some sort of all-in type push, surely he can get something done. But Serral just made it look so easy, Gemini. I am incredibly impressed.
I mean, that's just kind of what we expect when we see a Serral match. I feel like we're really expecting him to just come out with completely, mapped out builds, reactions, and just seeming like nothing can actually touch him. So this is par for the course, I would say, for this EVZ.
All right, folks, if you are enjoying the show, we invite you to join us on Patreon, patreon.com/ReviveSC2. You can vote on the maps, you can get the replay packs, you can go vote on the players. I know that Gemini is very happy about this. His Trap got voted in this season.
Keep voting that guy in, everybody. Great job. States that he loved the maps, the maps we've been getting voting in. I love the players that have been getting voted in. You guys are extremely based. All Giga Chads, every single one of you.
Yeah, we really do appreciate the support. If you haven't been there, we do invite you to join us. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, this best of 5 between Serral and SHIN will continue.
You know, I have been able to talk to some pros in person about Serral, and a lot of them have the feeling of like they just don't know what to do when they play him. Like, he just seems to be playing on a level that's like so ahead of everybody. It's like, you know, his RPG stats are all like he's just been leveling up for longer. They're all level 60, but he's level 80 or level
80. He beat the main boss, and then he beat the optional boss.
Yeah, he beat all the secret bosses.
And got the drops.
He's leveled up all the materia, and so when you're going against him, it's kind of hard to have like he has this kind of style, and so here's how you counter it, or like he's actually too greedy, so just make sure that you always skill check him. And then I think we actually get to see stuff like that expressed in the decision making in a game like the last game, where there's ways to play StarCraft that are almost entirely purely mechanical. I mean, I guess the best example TVZ of that is like, I'm gonna go for 3 base 8 racks push. Like, I'm basically trying to input everything and control everything well enough that I mechanically overcome you in this. And then there's ways to play where you're kind of gambling. Yeah, you're at the Baccarat table, and you're kind of hoping that, like, you get your number, right? And, if Serral wasn't ticking all the safety boxes there, I think there's a world where he could have won. But, yeah, I guess interesting to see that was a strat that Beyond went for.
Yeah, on that map as well. Like,
yeah.
Maybe you can hide it if the Zerglings don't get in. That game can look completely different.
I guess one of the ideas is that, we do have the different worker count, so like all of the timings are kind of different. And maybe you feel like you're safer or you're stronger as Zerg in a certain position, and maybe that could blindside you. But the problem is when it doesn't work, you look bad, right? There's
yeah.
So, yeah.
But here we are again. We have 2 racks once more. a reactor going down on this second one. The Marine count starting to grow here.
I'm so confident he will not do the same thing he did last time. I think this is one of these things where it starts out looking like this, but it will evolve into a completely different type of build.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he wants to go for. This Marine just patrolling around here. There is that high ground for the Overlord on this map, so not going to be able to find that. Stim on the way. I'm getting a little bit worried about your prediction here, Texas. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I really put myself on the line here. I'm like, don't worry, I've already...
well, you know, you never know.
I've bet the house on this, guys. I'm so confident. You're going to be so impressed with me. Look, maybe... there's no way he does the same thing again.
I mean, it would be crazy, especially pulling the SCVs. Okay, we do see a third CC. But Serral is doing the same thing. He's going for that quick layer once more on 2 bases.
Yeah. Although, in truth, I guess we never got to see what Serral was going to do, right? He was just in his build order and had a Baneling's Nest and went, oh, all right, well,
yeah.
I got to get... I guess I make Banes here, and I will win as speed is done.
Yeah, I mean, if Bjorn was not to push there, he goes into mutas, tries to harass him, that kind of thing. But this is an identical build from Serral here, getting the quick Baneling Nest as well, so we can get speed once the layer finishes. Serral does see this little move out of Marines. Double eBay on the way as well for Bjorn. So you may be tricked here as Serral, like, oh, is he doing the same thing? Because he didn't get the Ling Scout in the main this time, but he does see a lot of Marines at the front. Maybe you can kind of know what build it is by how many there are at the exact time. He doesn't see them right now. They are just parked outside of the natural.
Yeah, I like the idea of hiding that there, because you could end up with a misread. You know, you could come out with the Marines that you have as well, and the Zerg, you know, someone like Serral who plays so precisely would, you know, miscalculate that, and maybe that would be enough. But the Ling Scout comes in, and he sees the hidden Marines.
It seems half the Marines, though, right? Like, he splits them into 2, so you can never scout the whole... Okay, the Overlord actually sees those as well, but I don't think he knows about the ones on the high ground. Going to take control of the watchtower now is Serral. And Factory being added on here as well. Bjorn going into his 1-1, getting his combat shield. And I think Serral knows how many Marines exactly there are now as this Overlord will spot them. I don't know how he had vision of that in the first place. I guess it wasn't perfectly on the high ground.
Yeah, those little areas can be kind of funny because you can think you're completely safe and you're not if you didn't exactly click on top of where you need to be.
Right.
Okay, well, again, this is a very different game. He is teching up. He may still poke with this, but, you know, when you do this style of play, the starport, in this case, you know, it started like at, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. So... you're not going to have medevacs for a while. When you don't have medevacs, you can't really push without there being a lot, kind of the double-edged sword nature of that. You know, there's the possibility that you get completely wiped out. And of course, with mutas hatching, even when the medevacs come out, it's a very different game.
Yeah,
Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing on with this best of 5 between Serral and SHIN. So far, Serral with a 2-0 lead in this series. I'm hoping SHIN can pull it back, but Serral's defense has been looking so good, Gemini.
Yeah, this is what we've expected to see. Serral is just looking so strong in this matchup and against SHIN in this particular match. So I am, of course, hoping that, you know, like you said, SHIN can maybe come back with some more, competitive play. But for now, Serral is looking like he's going to ride this one, and you can see he even feels it as well. Feels like, I just want to get this one over with. Can we just get this game going and get this 3-0 out of here? Because that's looking like what it's going to be.
I mean, Serral's just been on point both in game number 1 and game number 2. And I like the ideas that SHIN has been playing with. And both of the maps that have been played so far, the hidden base in game 1, going for the forward hatch, you know, walling in the natural expansion into a timing push in game number 2. These are very creative ideas, but nothing has really been able to rattle Serral. Let's see if SHIN can fight back here in game number 3, or if Serral will confirm the 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, I wonder how much of this could come down to SHIN just feeling like, I mean, just you can see by the way he plays, it feels like he doesn't think he can take Serral in a normal game. It feels like he's trying to get under Serral's skin a little bit, trying to trick him, just because he's, you know, such a well-rounded player and just someone that is so good in every point of every game that he plays. I feel like I still would like to see it if Shin could try to play kind of a normal macro game and just kind of see how that works against Serral. Of course, now this is last life. It's a bit, it feels a bit predictable to do that almost, I would say. You know, you tried for 2 early builds, you try for 2 early cheeky stuff, and then it doesn't really work out. So it's like, oh, well, okay, my cool stuff didn't work. I guess I'll just go back to macro. But that just kind of helps Serral out as well, because he can probably assume that and just now go into super greed himself, something like that. So yeah, it would be cool to see Shin just try a normal game, but I feel like Serral still kind of has the upper hand in that regard.
Yeah, it's one of the very tricky things about these Best of X series is if you go down a significant deficit like this, 2-0 in a Best of 5, you know, being down on 1 life, it eliminates a lot of possibilities for you. You know, Serral, he's been playing defensive in Game 1 and Game 2. If he wanted to now, he could bust out 3 cheeses. He only needs 1 of them to work in these next 3 games. And so you have to be mindful of that is a possibility here as Shin. But also, you know, maybe you can beat Serral in a macro game if you play one of your best macro games, but will you be able to do it 3 times in a row too? Yeah. It's a very difficult position to be in, and so I'm wondering what Shin is going to do moving forward. And the best players, by the way, even when they are down 0-2, they don't change the way they play at all. You know, they will still go for the cheese that they feel are best. They will still go for the macro play they feel are best, but I'm curious what the build is going to be here for Shin, because as you said early on, it's been, what, 12 pool hidden base in Game 1. Game 2 was, I think, a 29 drone, Roachling timing attack. It's been very aggressive.
Yeah. For now, it looks like Shin did go for a slightly earlier pool, whereas Serral, like I was saying, feeling pretty comfortable with the series at hand, is going for a very fast hatchery first. So going for that himself, as both players are gonna be getting their scouts off pretty late, of course, as they are cross spawns, but they will see the overlords at least in the middle of the map, so might be able to deduce exactly what's going on from that. So they will know exactly where they are spawning. But yeah, for now it seems like Serral is just going to be sitting back for now. Of course, just getting a couple lings and getting his queens out, just going for the overall early game defense, whereas Shin also kind of doing the same thing, but just based off of the earlier pool. So it's nothing crazy from either player.
Yeah, not mirrored builds, but both of them playing quite conservatively here. Serral should have a advantage in terms of Zerling speed timing of maybe 20 seconds or so here. We'll see if he's going to leverage that to try and get some pressure done on a potential third base here for Shin, or if he's just going to feel safe and macro up behind it.
Ooh, the fast Baneliness coming in from Serral, though. I like that. Ling Bane Wars are my favorite thing to watch in the early game ZVZ, so I like that Serral is putting this down nice and early, going off of the hatch first as well, maybe kind of showing Shin, like, hey, I'm trying to play a macro game right now with this early hatchery. I'm not trying to do anything cheeky, but then going for that fast Baneling Nest anyways could be quite strong. Whereas Shin, for now, not going for his own Baneling Nest, will just be going for the very fast Evo Chamber to get some upgrades.
Yeah, I was going to say, it could just be a safety Baneling Nest here for Serral, because, you know, your Overlord Scout going cross-map like this, it gets there so late, right? It's really hard to confirm what kind of opening your opponent is going for. But for a safety Baneling Nest, it feels very quick, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
if it's
what
just my timings being off here with the 8-worker start versus a 12-worker start in ZVZ. But it felt very fast, and in any case, Serral behind it, he's just been doing nothing but droning. I think he might have made 1 pair of lings total, and he's gone for a very fast third base.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to just be that safety Baneling Nest. I was also kind of with you on that. It just felt very early for it to be a safety one that time. So the early economy changes are a little bit different for now. But yeah, one Zerling getting a massive scout. Look at all those Zerlings coming out from Shin. So Serral, yet again, with that impeccable early game scouting, knows exactly what's happening right when it is coming out. Those Zerlings literally got scouted right as they spawned, essentially. So it's like perfect timing, perfect knowledge from Serral to know exactly when this aggression could be happening. So this third base might get canceled if these 2 Banelings can't get some good connections. Decent pull away there from Shin. We'll lose a couple of them. But now the Zerglings from Serral have also spawned, so he needs to really try and keep this hatchery alive as the extra ones from Shin do come along. Then, oh my god, the Baneling's going to kill a lot of those, but the focus fire is there from Shin, so he will be able to get the hatchery at the cost of a lot of those Zerglings.
Yeah, that was an expensive trade there for Shin. If we take a look at the units lost tab, I'm actually curious how many lings were traded out there for Shin to get the cancel. Yeah, it's 7 units lost to 29. The resources are relatively even, but that's because the hatchery went down. That's a lot of army supply that Serral's going to have left over, so he will be able to get the cancel on Shin's side of the map as well. Serral's third base will still be faster than his opponent's. I mean, my goodness, 3 Zerglings and 1 Baneling traded for 29 Lings. It's actually more than I thought it was. It's a better trade for Serral than I thought it was.
That's actually insane. And since he got the cancel on the hatchery on the other side as well, his third base is still going to be faster than Shin's. Shin's not even remaking his, actually. He's gone full into roaches right now, realizing now that it's not actually a full-on counterattack from Serral. So he's going back into drones and trying to get that third base yet again. So Shin may be overreacting a little bit to the potential counter swing that Serral could have thrown at him. And now Serral yet again gets in with the 2 Lings, scouts everything, sees the lair timing, sees the fact that there's no more units getting produced as well. So Serral knows exactly the position he's in, knows he canceled the third, knows his is faster, knows his lair is faster, and knows he's just in a great position.
I mean, Serral just has a complete picture right now, and so where is he going to go from here? He also knows, by the way, that Shin has his +1 Carapace, and so the possibility of Shin going for a 1-1 timing, I think, with Roaches is very high, and that has to be on the radar here for Serral. So you just try to build up and prepare to absorb the impact of the push that comes across the map, because, of course, Shin is capable of doing something else here, but just looking at the position, especially with such a late third hatchery, it feels like he's going to go for a push.
Yeah, absolutely. He's getting a couple extra drones, of course, just to kind of round everything out, but he is still making those roaches pretty consistently. Serral is sharking around with his Ling squad, of course, just trying to get as much information as possible, just needs to know exactly when this army is going to try to walk its way across, if it does, from Shin. The Overseer is going to try to get a scout, sees exactly what's going on in the main base, but once again, Serral gets in with a couple of these Zerglings. We'll try to focus down a few drones, not going to be the craziest impact, but it's just pulling all the attention away from Shin. It's continuing to get scouting to know exactly how many units are coming out, so he knows what he needs to respond with.
That's some very good scouting there by Serral. And Shin, for now, is just continuing to build up. He's continuing to drone as well, so at least in this moment of the game, he's posturing pretty defensively. And Serral does have map control with a large number of Lings on such a wide open map like Old Sun Temple, with such a large distance from the bottom left corner all the way up to the top right corner. It actually looks like it might be Serral who's getting aggressive. He's beginning a little bit of a creep highway, but notably not starting the creep on these forward overlords where Shin would see it.
Yeah, it's very nice attention to detail from Serral, just only giving a little bit of information, of course. The Spire coming out from Shin, though, is going to be the thing that Serral needs to get a scout on, or maybe just kill him before he gets there, because it really looks like Serral is ramping up. He's got lots of Ravagers coming on in, lots of Roaches now on the production tab, then at the last second triggering the Overlords to drop the creep, so that way he can get that speed boost at the last possible second to give Shin as little reaction time as possible. So now Shin, supply blocked as well, needs to make this defense. It's a massive army supplied lead right now for Serral.
Yeah, Shin cannot afford to bank any resources up for those mutas. It all has to be about the defense here at the third base. It's 1-1 upgrades on both sides. Ravagers are here for Serral, none for Shin, so Shin has to dodge these files, whereas Serral can stand his ground, stutter step forward, not miss any time attacking into this position, and the supply for Shin is just plummeting right now.
He is ransacking the third base, and he's ransacking this series. That is a very convincing 3-0 from Serral. I feel like I've said it like 20 times right now, but I feel like it's what we've come to expect in this match particularly. Like, that was not even close, I think, in any point in any of those games.
I mean, that was just a masterclass of ZBZ. From game one, the 12-pool hidden base, just being able to figure out exactly what position he's in and start formulating the answer so quickly. It speaks volumes about what a smart player he is here and his instincts in this matchup. But then also game number 2, you know, there was a lot of pressure that came his way. That 29 drone Roach Ling attack, Serral parried that with ease. And then in game number 3, a game that looked fairly even, just the non-stop scouting with Lings checking on, the drone counts checking on, the extractor timings checking to see what units are being made and how many of them. Just everything was perfect there for Serral. It's a clean 3-0 sweep. He's going to be advancing into the upper bracket semifinals. Shin, this is the double elimination playoffs. He's not out of the tournament just yet. He will play on August 1st, but one of his 2 lives are gone now, Gemini.
Yes, that was a very rough series for Shin, unfortunately, but yeah, he does have another life, so we'll be playing against one other player, hopefully to go a little bit farther in the tournament. I'm sure he wants to continue his journey here in the season number 6 of RSL, because of course the top 2 players end up at BlizzCon, so he definitely wants to get that ticket.
Yeah, I know, man. It's so much fun to have Serral playing in the RSL.
Yes.
This has been a blast. Serral just looking absolutely perfect there versus SHIN. And you could look perfect, too, if you go to tastelessthreads.com. You like that transition
Sick
there, Gemini?
segue, oh, that was just...
It was so good you almost called me tasteless.
Tasteless would be proud.
Anyway, guys, check out tastelessthreads.com. If you're a Patreon supporter of the RSL, you get a 20% discount. And there's all sorts of merch available, not just the 3 images that you see on screen, as unless you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're probably not wanting a hoodie right now. Let me tell you, it is hot and humid out here in Korea. But yeah, check it out. Pick up some sweet merch, and we'll see you in a little bit. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, it's going to be a PvZ, Hero versus Solar in the next best of 5. Don't miss it. We'll see you soon.
Welcome on back, everybody. We are going into our losers match, our elimination match of GG Machine versus Bunny. We are going to be eliminating our first player of RSL season number 6. Is it going to be Bunny or is it going to be GG Machine?
Yep. The winner of this, of course, goes on to play Björn. I knew that. Björny. Yeah, so we could have our first TVT of the season. I feel like we don't have many TVTs in the RSL.
No, yeah, it's been very few.
We've had a lot of PvPs, too many PvPs. Some ZVZs, and then just, a sprinkling of TVT.
We're going to get a lot of ZVZs this season, man.
Well,
we're going to get quite a bit of those. We got lots of Zergs.
Lots of lava, lots of ZVZs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But anyways, one more TVZ for us today. And who knows, maybe we might have another one. Perhaps GG Machine can pull an upset here.
Yep.
Bunny is definitely someone that I feel like is more on his caliber of players he could pull an upset against. I would still say that Bunny is maybe a bit overall favored. I mean, he's been doing pretty well recently. He had a very nice last season as well, getting into the playoffs for the first time. So, yeah, there's still obviously, the Korean versus the foreigner, feels like the Korean is going to always be the victor. But I feel like GG Machine has got something here potentially to cause an upset.
Yeah, it's always tough to judge someone's form when they play against Serral.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know exactly how well Björny's playing because he lost 2-0 to Serral, but what does that mean?
Exactly.
For his form, I mean, who knows? He could be playing the best he's ever played, or he could be playing, normal for his skill level. We will find out. I'm very excited for map number 2, Gemini. It's going to be our new map, Voidstorm.
Oh, nice.
Super excited for that, but it will be after game number 1, which is going to be on Necropolis.
Very nice. There's actually been a couple changes to this map as well. Avex, the map maker, has been very... just adamant about, trying to get feedback on his maps and iterating on them and stuff like that. So before the natural wall was a little kind of awkward to wall off. It needed a little bit more buildings, but we've essentially fixed that. It's a normal wall off now. And then there's also in the middle of the map, there's not a double set of rocks anymore. There's a Zerg rock as well. That's the name of it. That's the Zerg rock. That's the actual name that map makers are calling it. We don't have a name for this.
Debris.
It's just a Zerg debris. And so that'll just eventually get killed off over time. So it'll open up that extra pathway, make it a little bit easier for players to get flanks going if the third base does end up in the location that's near it as well. So just a couple little changes here and there to the map compared to last season. To make it a little bit more better for some players.
Look at you staying up to date, man.
Well, I was the one that was he was the one communicating that to me, so I was the one that was rallying all the map makers.
Well done for remembering. Anyway, good to keep up to date with how these maps are being changed and improved over time as they continue to get better. As we have a hatch after the pool in this game, going for the pool first, then the hatch, then the gas will be GG Machine. Bunny, on the other hand, he's got his racks here at the top and a Reaper. Nothing crazy going on right now.
Yes, none of that variety today, unfortunately, in this match. I'm sorry, I can't stop, dude. It's the funniest thing. Oh, it's just so good. Anyways, yeah, so it's going to be the Reaper expand out of Bunny. It's just going to be putting that CC down nice and quick. Got the Zerglings coming out from GG Machine as well, just to make sure he's nice and defended against that. Going to have no problems there whatsoever. And it's very interesting now seeing this pool first being done every single time now. We've gone through what feels like 16 years straight almost of just patch first being the absolute stock standard from Zerg. So it's kind of interesting to see that kind of switch up now, as you do have a nice chance to defend early with it, like you were mentioning earlier, but also you can send these Lings across the map if you do want to as well, and then use the Queen to defend. So this is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, you have the option, just make the one set of Lings and stay at home, or make two and send them across the map, as you mentioned. There was a little bit of a blind spot in the main where there was no Queen out yet, so if the Reaper had gone in there, chance for damage, but never mind that. Here come the Lings. SCV's forced off the line for the moment. These Zerglings actually gonna get trapped a little bit, but get a worker. Can they get another one? Ooh.
No.
Oh,
What?
you lied,
Why did he
Gemini.
turn around?
How could you lie to the people like that?
Why would you turn the SCV around? Just keep going with it. Okay, that was very...
I mean, 2 SCVs for 4 Lings is kind of the, you know, that's about as good
That's
as you can
great.
expect, especially with the added mining time loss, delay on the CC build-in. All that stuff adds up a little bit. So little early game win there for GG Machine.
That was great. Yeah, a great opening. He's up 10 workers essentially right now. And the Overlord should not die there. It should be able to just walk away, so that's going to be nice as well. Yeah, a great trade overall for GG Machine. Really like this opening so far compared to his previous series. But for now, yeah, this is going to be a pretty...
Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ready to start the second best of 5 of the night, the second best of 5 of the Season 6 RSL playoffs. It's going to be Hero versus Solar, and I am so excited for this one. The last standing Protoss player in the RSL Season 6. Those are words that have never been spoken before.
Yeah.
This has been the most Protoss-dominated tournament for, like... 5 or 6 seasons. Oh, look at this. Production just got on point. Classic, Hero, Max Pax, and Hero. Your RSL champions thus far. Right now in Season 6, only Hero remains for Protoss.
And he's got to win it all.
He might.
He's just going to go all the way, and he's going to ruin this narrative yet again, and he's just going to... We're going to get one more giant dent in the wall behind us as we furiously punch our way into another rage. But anyways, this is how the the groups have gone so far. This is how we ended up here in these playoffs. We had Serral and Beyond coming out of Group A, Rogue Solar from B, Hero Shin from C, and Lem Lambo coming out from Group letter D, I guess you could say.
The number D.
Yeah, the number D.
We are
the
Protoss players after all.
Yes, we are. We don't know how to we don't know how to use our brains. But anyways, yeah, so this has been how everything is shaped up. It's going to be pretty nice, of course, to see a PVZ coming on in, as this is, like you said, the only Protoss player that we have. And funny enough, these two players, Hero and Solar, literally already played today. They played about 4 hours ago or so in the KSL, one of these online cups, and Hero did win that 3-1. So we are now getting a rematch as of a couple hours ago. They just took a little lunch break, and they're back at it.
Yeah, that's fun, man. I mean, there's so much online competition right now in StarCraft 2 that this is kind of a common thing, you know, where people play multiple times, if not in the same week, they're not even on the same day. So it'll be fun to get a revisit on this. I wonder how many more mind games are going to be at play that we won't really know are happening.
Right.
Yeah, it's always curious when you have two players that have already either been playing against each other a lot or, like today, playing against each other earlier in the day.
Yeah, I always wonder how pro players even manage this. Like, I feel like whenever I'm playing, I always like to play new players on the ladder. Like, I hate playing the same player a couple times, because then I feel like it's like too much into the mind games, and I don't know exactly what I should be doing. But it's like, with some of these pro players, man, it's like they just play each other all the time. It's like, where do they go? Like, where do you even start with the amount of mind games that you have to throw into some of these series, let alone doing it twice in the same day?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what Hero's going to do in this one in particular, because I've been watching a lot of Hero's gameplay in many of the other online tournaments that have been happening so far. And it's been a lot of Void Rays, let me tell you. I would say that PvZ, out of all of the matchups, I've tried to be very optimistic about the recent patches, but PvZ out of all the matchups has been by far my least favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's just been so monotonous, in particular with the Void Ray plays. You know, like when I'm on the ladder and I'm trying new things, like I'm going for like a Soul Train push after they change the force field interaction with Ravagers, or I'm going for like Colossi time and doing these mothership rushes into ground, and I'm losing a lot of my games, and I'm like, let's take inspiration from Classic or Zhao account where Hero and Hiko, and it's just Stargate play. It's just
mass
Void Rays
Void
fighting
Ray.
Corruptors, and they win or they lose, and I'm just sad. But I was watching the Group C games from RSL where Hero played some PvZs, and they looked a lot more interesting. So I'm hoping we get a little bit more of that ground action here in PvZ.
Yeah, absolutely. Rorschach is going to be the first map of the series. We're going to get that loaded on up so we can start this one out. It's going to be Hero versus Solar. A nice PvZ best of 5 for the closer of the day.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see exactly how this one is going to go. Hero spawning in the bottom left is the blue Protoss, Solar the red Zerg down here in the bottom right.
I really want to see what Hero does in this series. When they were playing earlier today, Hero did do a couple of those Void Ray styles, going for the 2 Stargate Void Ray after just a normal Oracle opener. He did some, just Oracle into like some Adepts and then into like Colossus transition in one of the games. He also had a weird game where he was going for like a 2 base Robo with a War Prism and then into a Twilight and Forge, and then he lost the War Prism and then left the game. So yeah, we really don't know what to expect from Hero coming out today, I feel like.
Yeah, especially here in game number 1. Look at this. He's going for the pylon in the main base. He's not walling into the natural expansion, and this might look completely alien to a lot of players who started picking up StarCraft 2 and Legacy of the Void. This is kind of the way that we used to play back in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, but even then you would wall in at the ramp in your main base. So it's a very interesting start here for Hero. And it's going to be a cannon rush.
What?
This is why. So the Forge going down here in the main base. Gateway in the main as well. And the scout coming in from Hero, Solar will know that it's not a pylon scout. It's coming across the map a lot later. This is a gateway scout, but there shouldn't be any alarm bells ringing until he actually gets the Overlord to the natural expansion, unless he spots the pylons dropping in the natural.
Yeah, well, he's going to see that right away. 2 of them going down very fast here. What is Solar's response? We have not really seen a lot of cannon rushes on this new patch. The 8-worker start makes it a little awkward to go for some cannon rushes in general, but Hero is going to try to bring it on out. We'll see how he does. Very nicely planned, canceling that other one on the right so that way he can free the probe and get a second cannon down, and then he can go see exactly what's going on in the main base. This is exactly how you want to do it as a Protoss player. Of course, if you see that the hatchery is canceled, you can easily cancel one of these cannons as well, so you can get those resources back and then transition into something else afterwards.
Yeah, this is a very curious build from Hero, and he will cancel one of those put-on cannons. Cybernetics Core are going to get started with those minerals as they are refunded here to Hero. And it's a double gas opening now in the main base of Hero. And so this makes me wonder whether we're going to have proxy tech here at the natural expansion of Solar, because this is kind of looking like a proxy robo angle to me, Gemini.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that was pretty popular back in maybe, I think, 2018, 2019. A lot of Protoss players were doing this, specifically Parting.
Yeah, whenever Parting was playing is when this was popular.
When Parting was doing really well, that's when this was happening a lot. And so, yeah, he's going to be going for a proxy gateway. So this was another way you could do it after the cannon rush, is you can go into a gateway follow-up, and then you get a lot of stalkers out. It's going to be a Stargate back at home as well.
This is so cool.
What is this? All right, so Hero's really kind of throwing everything at the wall right now. I wonder what this is going to end up being.
Yeah, this is just a wild build. Okay, Warp Gate is going to start here for Hero, and Solar, I'm sure, also has no idea what to make out of this opening, so he's just going to be going into Roaches. I imagine we're only going to see 2 or 3 come out from Solar, and he'll likely want to turn those into Ravagers so that he can kind of siege down these pylons from a distance. Those pylons being built next to each other, they can get both targeted by 1 bile. So that is going to be an angle here for Solar. Their first Ravager going to start morphing in. Adept will usher away these Zerglings here in the main base.
Oh my god, Probe, stay alive. No.
Okay.
Very good. Anyways, Oracle is going to be coming on out of that Stargate, and the gateway at the front was canceled. Okay, so that is not going to be used anymore. Totally abandoned. I really wonder what this thought process was from Hero. Maybe he wanted to go into the gateway pressure, but then something happened and he saw something that he was like, well, okay, maybe I shouldn't go for this anymore. Let's just stay a little bit more passive with the Stargate at home. I'm not quite sure.
It could have also been Oh, no, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say he could be blocking the hatchery, but there's a put-on cannon there. What I'm talking about. I don't know. Maybe it was him just kind of trying to throw a little bit of a mind game here into Solar.
If he doesn't know what he's doing, Solar won't. That's for sure.
That, but literally, because Solar's going to see that and be like, what kind of all-in is this going to be? There's going to be less drones on the map, right? And so maybe it makes sense for Hero to spend, what is it, like 40 minerals after it gets canceled? So you could get refunded a good portion of that.
Wow, Oracle's going to get a nice couple drone kills here.
Yeah.
It looks like even though Solar got the scout on the Stargate, it wasn't really prepared for this Oracle coming out. So no Spore Crawler at that third base means 7 drones getting killed off. And now there's also another Oracle and a double Adept walking across the map. There's definitely more room for damage from Hero.
Yeah, no Ling speed either because Solar went into the Ravagers before Zergling's speed. So these Adepts can get into the main base. I think the Shade is probably going to complete as the Oracle's also coming in right now. In fact, Hero, he will cancel it. Instead, going to be going for the third base. Evolution Chamber drops here. Try and block a little bit of the pathing here for these Adepts. They're still trying to find the angle. They are going to shade into the main base this time.
We'll be caught by a couple of Zerglings and the Queen, so not able to dive onto the drones just yet. And one of the Adepts actually will get killed off by the Queen, so that's going to help out a lot. So this Adept shouldn't really get anything done. So nice management from Solar to deny any further drone damage except for that one. And that one? Okay, never mind. But anyways, it could have gotten much worse. So at least he was able to keep a majority of them alive, but this is still not going to be a great situation for Solar.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Hero didn't activate the Oracles to go for the Ravagers. I think he will go for this hatchery. He certainly should. He might just be waiting for the 4th Oracle to come in. Well, it makes sense. If you're going to get the kill, you might as well just let the cancel get some more HP, right? But it's going to go into the main base. Oh my god, he's going to go for the Spore Crawler? You're kidding me. Bile actually almost
he killed his own drone.
He kills his own drone.
Oh
4 Oracles,
God.
they take down the Spore Crawler, they take down the Queen. This is a much better target than the hatchery, the natural expansion. Oh my goodness, Hero, what a game.
Oh, Hero just made so many Protoss players so happy, man. That is...
He made me so happy. That was beautiful.
Oh,
that was art.
We are disgusting creatures, aren't we,
No.
State?
Yeah, the really shocking thing to me is how fast that snowballed because Solar, I know that was a crazy game out from Hero. We basically never see cannon rushes, especially in the 8-worker start. It's a little bit more expensive. It's hard to really explain exactly how the macro works, but it feels, relative to your economy and the Zerg economy, cannon rushes, they feel way worse for me now. And so the fact that Hero goes for this, and he also does it with a wall in the main base, not even at the ramp, but by the Nexus and the gases, it got a lot of damage done, and I think part of that is because Solar didn't know exactly where Hero was going to try and take the game, and then behind it, the Stargate was spotted by the Overlord, and the Oracle still got like 7 drone kills.
Yeah.
I cannot wrap my head around that.
Yeah, that was really strange to me. I wasn't sure exactly. Maybe Solar thought it was going to be like a Void Ray first, or maybe just thought the Queen would have been enough to be able to defend against the... I don't know, honestly, what exactly the thought process was there, because... Yeah, I feel like if you get that scout on the Stargate, you just need the Spore Crawler at the third base. So a bit of a lapse in judgment, or maybe just he thought he made one and didn't realize he didn't have it or something. Not really sure.
In any case, that was just a crazy game coming in from Hero, and the super fast 4 Oracles. I wonder how many chronos he actually spent on that Stargate, because those Oracles, it feels like they were on the map so quickly. But then again, I mean, this was like a quarter before Nexus opening because it was a cannon rush, right? So all the timings are messed up. Oh, that was a beautiful game. Creative play coming out of Hero in game number 1. He's going to take the game 1 lead over his opponent in this best of 5 as map number 2 is loading in.
Yes, Ruby Rock is going to be the next map, so let's see if Solar can bring this one back or if Hero is going to continue this domination. So yeah, like you said, he also went for the 4 Oracle, which was really cool, and something he's kind of been doing this a lot as well in his normal PvZs too, where before it would be maybe 2 or 3 Oracles, but he's been going into the 4 Oracles pretty consistently, actually. I feel like maybe this is kind of because of the way Warp Gate and Gateways work right now. Maybe you don't feel as comfortable getting too many early Gateway units out very fast, so maybe just trying to get 1 extra Oracle here and there to get some extra DPS down is something that's more valuable to him, at least. I've seen a couple games where he played it, and then unfortunately he did kind of Hero things and just lost them and didn't really do too much with them. But this last game was extremely successful, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see 4 Oracles hitting the field yet again in a future game.
I mean, it's certainly in the cards here for Hero. He made it work there in game number 1, and I wonder what he'll do here in game number 2, as it's looking like a much more standard setup with a 14 gateway here on the low ground, the Pylon Scout 2. Stop Solar from taking the natural expansion. Solar instead is going to immediately cue that drone over here to the third base. Hero, I think, actually could have gotten the block there if he wanted to, but instead it's just going to go scout the main.
Yeah, just wants to be super safe to know exactly if there's an early pool or not. So we'll see that there is nothing, knows that it is a hatch first opener. So nothing crazy from him. But yeah, I want to know when Hero starts to go into some of those more standard styles that he's been doing. So like we were saying, he was liking a lot of the Void Ray play. So generally with the way Protoss does it now is they do it kind of similar to how like the 2020 Void Ray meta was working out a little bit at the beginnings, where you go into just a normal expand with the Oracle, and then you get kind of a faster third base, and then you just start making Void Rays behind it with the second Stargate as well, and then you just start pumping a lot of Void Rays. The big difference here is that they're going for very fast Flux Veins and Mothership with it as well to really round everything out. Since the Mothership overall is much better than it was back then, that's kind of the play style that the Stargate meta has gone for. You don't really see disruptors or anything like that like you normally would back then either, but it's been a lot of focus on those Void Rays and the Mothership.
Yeah, and here we're also in game number 2 going for a core before Nexus again. So a little bit of a shake-up here. A less greedy opening here for Hero, but that means that the Adept is going to be hitting the field a lot faster than it normally would. And if Hero wants, if he's very careful about keeping this probe on high HP, he might be able to throw down something like a pylon block in the natural expansion at the same time that the Adept shades into the natural expansion to try and block Solar from going to up to a fast 3 hatch.
Yeah, it definitely could be a good play. The double Adept chronos were really, really strong earlier in some of these patch iterations as well, just because the time wasn't really adjusted just yet, so the double Adept timings would be pretty strong. This probe, you can see, is really trying to delay this third for as long as possible. Throws down the pylon as well. 4 Zerglings and a drone is enough to DPS it down, but he's really committing to this, making 3 pylons in total to make sure that this Adept can actually cancel this, or deny this third base from going down. So that's honestly a pretty big investment, and I mean, yeah, obviously it's great that you are able to, get this kill and everything, but I always wonder how much of that is going to be super worth it or not.
This is, in my opinion, the whole point of going for this kind of opening here with the core before Nexus, is that you're going to be able to disrupt the Zerg economy like this, but it's a lot harder to make this work because the Adepts take, 3 seconds longer to train now at the current iteration of StarCraft 2. And so you see Hero, he had to throw down a lot of proxy pylons and then cancel them because he's just trying to buy time for that shade to get across the map. But
it feels so weird doing that too, though.
Yeah. It is a little bit expensive, but the disruption, oftentimes, it is worth it. Especially if you're a player like Hero who really thrives and gains strength by trying to just continuously skill check your opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. The double Adept is going to be coming across with that Oracle soon to follow as well. So the double Adept trying to find its way into that main base. There's just a Queen, it looks like. So yeah, Hero's going to take that invitation. Wow, great block though from Solar. It's a bit unfortunate that Hero wasn't able to get on by. Could have gotten a lot more drones from this, and actually he's going to be getting basically none. Even misfiring there onto the Zergling to lose an Adept as well. So excellent defense from Solar. That drone is only from earlier when it was trying to take the third base. So yeah, very nicely held by Solar.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. That Evolution Chamber going down like a half second later would have been a disaster there for Solar, but instead he's in a very good position. Will actually commit with these Lings to get the Adept. A smart choice coming in from Solar as well. As those Lings moving cross map, they'll try to get some pressure done, but unfortunately their numbers have thinned out enough. They can't really pressure this third base too much. The Oracle, it's still free to move cross map and try and get more damage done.
Yeah, he's going to try to see what he can do here. Not going to be able to get too much overall, but behind it here is going to be going into a couple of Adepts coming out of the gateway. So Warp Gate is finished now. Oh, he's going really far with that Oracle. Barely gets it out in time. The Queen actually, I feel like, was just a pixel away from getting a downtown shot, but luckily for him, he's going to be able to keep that one alive. But now there's 4 Adepts coming into this third base. Hero's trying to put these things between the mineral lines, making it as very difficult as possible for those Zerglings, and these are going to do a great amount of damage. 8 drones in total getting killed off by these Adepts, and he's even going to be able to keep 2 of them alive. For now. They're going to get chased down.
Yeah, Lings will clean this up, but some really nice tempo play coming out from Hero. Just trying to constantly throw these attacks at Solar. And Solar, honestly, has been defending it really well. It's why that Solar is currently ahead in workers. This is usually around the benchmark timing, around like 45 workers or so, that Zerg is going to start to get ahead of Protoss in the current patch. And so the fact that Solar's been able to do this despite all of the pressure coming out from Hero, it's really incredible.
Yeah. You can see that Hero's continually making these adepts as well. This is something that he's been doing in some of his PvZs earlier as well, where he just continues to make adepts with that faster warp gate cooldown, or the gateway cooldown, I guess, or the production time, I should say. Now that warp gate is finished researching, so he really just rallies these things out and just sends them across the map at weird timings, but then goes into other tech play afterwards. He doesn't commit to a fast glaives like we would see in the past. He's going into the double Stargate and the fast fleet beacon this game as well. So he's still, even after all of that crazy adept pressure, going to be going into the two Stargate Void Ray play.
Yeah, so it will be Sky Toss here for Hero. But the adept pressure, it's not over just yet. We have another battalion of adepts coming in towards, I think, the natural expansion here, joining forces with 2 oracles to provide some assistance as the mothership is going to be starting back at home. Now, there are enough lings, I think, to deal with this, so Hero instead just going to be focusing on perhaps getting cancel here at the 4th base, but at the very least, just keeping these adepts alive.
He hasn't used the 2 Stargates yet either, which is interesting to me. Only just getting the mothership for now. And he's actually going to go straight into carriers, which is very interesting.
I don't like this.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I feel like the Void Ray is so much better against the primary counter that Zerg players have been going for. Okay, he cancels the carrier, goes for Void Rays. This is the much better play, I think, because the answer to this almost always is Corruptors, typically with Roaches. Roach Corruptor is just a very good composition in ZVP in the current metagame, in the current patch. And if you go carriers against that, you just simply do not have the DPS against the Corruptors to actually trade them out. But Void Rays, they stand a chance. Once they activate the beams, the Corruptors have to disengage.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you do get Flux Veins on them, they can move very quick, so you can actually kind of juke and jive the Corruptors a little bit. And then once you do go for the, once you do get the defense, you can even send them across the map and try to do some counter pressure with them, which is kind of interesting enough. Having Void Rays, basically like these big hit squads to snipe hatcheries and stuff like that, could be very strong. So yeah, good identification from Hero to see that fast Spire coming on in and make the correct adaptation, because yeah, if he had gone into those carriers, it would have been lights out for him.
Much better composition coming in here for Hero. Solar's going to be expanding to a 5th base. This queen going to get sniped. A nice catch there by Hero. We'll spot the first Corruptors as well. Flyer attack being researched here for Solar. Hero very fast on the +1 air weapons, by the way.
Yeah, he does really favor that. Every single time he's gone for the 2 Stargate Void Ray as of late, he really gets that fast +1 as well.
It's necessary, I think.
Yeah, if you can get that +2 coming out super fast as well, it's just so sick. +2 air attack is just ridiculous against Zerg. It just melts everything.
Void Rays now being produced 3 at a time. Zero continuing to fish for damage with these adepts. We'll cancel a couple of these shades and send 4 adepts now into this 4th base, getting a couple more drones here. One thing these adepts also do is they kind of keep tabs on exactly where Solar's army is and how much he has. See, just a small number of Lings and Roaches right now, and that kind of signals to Hero that Solar's really investing most of his resources into Corruptors, which is what you would expect in this situation, but getting confirmation always feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. The series that Solar and Hero played earlier today as well, whenever Hero was going for this, he actually wasn't favoring the Corruptor play. He was doing a lot more kind of like Roach, Ravager, Hydra style lair all-ins on like 60 or 66 drones. I think one game he tried to go for a little bit longer late game and more drones, but this is a different play coming out from Solar, and it wasn't really working out for him earlier today. So, the other style was. So we'll see if this Corruptor style is going to be a bit more favorable for him.
Yeah, I feel like the Corruptor style is typically going to be more potent, especially with a Queen Walk like this. If you can get some creep there on the front line, transfuses on that might help. But already a Stasis Trap catching a couple of those Queens. Actually, interesting thought. I never considered this before, but units in Stasis, do they gather energy still? I wonder.
That is interesting. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But anyways, the Void Ray is going to find their way onto these Corruptors as a couple of those Queens are out of range.
Oh my god!
And a sick set of biles going down a lot of those Void Rays. 4 of them getting picked off. A lot of them are pretty low in HP as well.
How is it always Hero getting hit by Biles with Void Rays?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
For years! It's always Hero that gets hit. By the way, Mapu, thank you for checking the Queen. They actually do not gain energy. That's very interesting. It's less interesting than the Void Rays getting Bile, but I'm happy that I know now. As Solar, I think, is be riding the momentum from that and pushing into the natural expansion. Now, Hero, he has been able to remax with a couple more Void Rays. 4 are being produced at a time, so there is a chance that Hero is still able to hold if he gets the Dream engagement, but Solar, he's already knocking on the door. This is looking very dangerous.
There's a lot of static D as well, though, for Hero, so it's going to take a long time for Solar to really batter this down. A nice charge on these Void Rays, taking a good engagement as the Corruptors a little bit farther forward. We'll be able to deal a good amount of damage there. A lot of the Queens are actually off creep, so they can't quite transfuse just yet. It looks like Hero's going to be able to back away just in time as that charge does start to dissipate there. But now the Natural's under threat. A lot of those Void Rays just about to pop do get depowered, so now that's a lot of reinforcements not on the field right now for Hero.
Only one Overseer remaining here for Solar, but he's keeping it safe in the back, so Solar still has spotting on this army. Pro trying to salvage the situation right now, needs to repower those Stargates at the Natural Expansion. And currently the Void Ray numbers versus the Corruptors, it's starting to look better for Hero. Before it was about a 2-to-1 ratio, and now that some more Corruptors finished for Solar, it's back to a 2-to-1 ratio. But here on the front lines, Hero, I think he has enough Void Rays to at least get some damage done in versus these Corruptors, but it's still looking very dangerous.
Yeah, you can see him really trying to fish this out. He's trying to just get a little angle where he can get a couple of shots off from the Void Rays to get some good DPS going, get a charge, and kind of take Solar by surprise. Mothership just going to get focused right down, though. Solar kind of taking the Hero by surprise with that movement. We'll be able to kill that off. 19 probes getting killed as well. This third base is going to get killed off. There is still the fourth base over on the right-hand side, so Hero's really trying to milk this for what it's worth. Just trying to get any amount of damage done onto these Corruptors, dodging away from the Biles for now. But he's still sitting at just 48 probes. It's going to be really hard to macro back out of this if he even is able to survive.
I mean, it's just been a long siege here at the third base of the Natural Expansion. 23 probes have fallen. The Void Rays, they activate their beams, but they cannot take the engagement. And when you have those Void Rays charged up like that and you still can't take the fight, it is a terrible feeling here for Heroes. It looks like Solar is going to be getting one on the board. We'll see, though. Hero, I think he's got one more fight in him. If he can have a critical mass of Void Rays, defeat the Corruptors, if he takes the perfect fight and wins the air versus air battle, he has a path to victory because there's no way that Solar will be able to actually deal with the Void Rays that remain. But the question is, will he get that fight? I'm not sure, Gemini.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard. Even if he does get the fight, the bank from Solar is going to start to accrue pretty heavily soon as well. You can see he's trying to stutter step these Void Rays. Does get a pretty good connection with the Corruptors right there. Does melt quite a few of them, but it's still going to be so difficult. I mean, he's literally only got the Void Rays at this point. He's trying to stutter step them, and like I said, he's going to get some good shots off overall, but Solar's not even getting below maxed, I feel like.
Yeah, but it's really tough because right now it's 10 Void Rays to 10 Corruptors. That is better for Hero, and Solar, he's only just now saturating the gases at the 6 o'clock. That's one of the reasons why the Corruptor count's so low. Again, if the Void Rays beat all the Corruptors, which they're doing here at the Natural Expansion, I know the supplies are terrible. I mean, Hero's got no economy behind this, but there's no anti-air to deal with the Void Rays, really. You know, we have 5 more Corruptors in production. I think that Solar's economy, it's big enough, he will stabilize. But the fact that Hero's been able to push this back just goes to show, you know, how razor thin the edge was for Solar for so long here.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to kill 2 bases. He was able to kill an insane amount of probes. So, yeah, that's going to be basically it. Solar just gets the reinforcements together and then is able to kill off the rest of the Void Rays. So, yeah, Solar able to even this one up. A much better response from him this game compared to the series they played earlier today in the KSL. He was not really finding success with that Roach Hydra all-in, but this time finding some really good value out of those Corruptors and Queens.
I mean, Ravager Corruptor always looks good when your opponent just sends a bunch of Void Rays into the Biles.
Yeah, that's also true.
I would have loved to see that game without the Biles. I was actually very curious if Hero was going to hold it. It looked like he was in a good position, but, I mean, Solar with just better control, able to pull the rabbit out of the hat there. I mean, that was just a perfect push coming in by Solar.
Yeah, it was really well maintained. And even though he did lose quite a few drones overall to the Adepts in the early game, he was still able to sustain a good enough economy. He wasn't losing too much stuff back at home, so it was still okay for him to go into that mid-game.
Honestly, losing some drones versus that opening from Hero, it feels like an inevitability. I think that Solar's defense was actually quite solid because Hero, he invested so many resources.
It was a lot of Adepts.
Yeah, and also delayed his economy. Keep in mind, that was a core before Nexus. That's why he was able to set up the pylon block of the Natural Expansion, why he was able to delay that hatch and set up subsequent attacks. Anyway, folks, we would love you to support us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@ReviveSC2. Click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. These things, they really do make a difference in kind of feeding RSL into the algorithm for StarCraft 2. Our channel, it's growing, but it's still very small relative to a lot of the larger StarCraft 2 channels. We would love to get on more players' radars.
Absolutely. We're going to go to a short little break before the rest of this series continues, so do not go anywhere. More Hero versus Solar coming on up.
when the champ's like 50. Then he goes to 80 and Hive. The Lurkers didn't really come into play, I feel like, but
Yeah, it was
that was his late game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like his late game kind of, what do you call it, fail safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, very well played.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I feel like that would have looked even cleaner as well if the Lurkers just weren't caught in the middle of the map right there. Like if they were just back at home, sieged, waiting for the push, that would have just been a total wipe of the army. And the fact that he lost those Lurkers, the fact that he was losing the bases and it looked a little scrappy for a moment, and he was still able to come out with the victory, very impressive. So GG Machine coming back, fighting hard in this elimination match, is not out just yet. Let's see if he can actually pull off the full comeback.
Yeah, this would be quite an upset, honestly. If he's able to take out Bunny here in the group stage, we'll have to see if he's able to do it as we move into At Eternity's Edge for game number 3. This is it. Tournament life on the line right now. If you lose this, you are out. If you win, you move on to play Bunny.
Half of my brain is just wanting GG Machine to advance, so that way I do not need to cast Bunny versus Beyond. And I really just don't want to be dealing with tongue twisters today, so that would be great if he could win. But if Bunny loses here, that's actually going to be a pretty surprising loss and a bit of a disappointing one for him, I would say, considering the fact that he's coming off of Season 5. He got into the playoffs for the first time in RSL. He's played in plenty of our events, but just always getting knocked out in the group stage, except for last season. And was able to, return. Just didn't have to play the qualifiers, didn't have to get voted in this time, was able to just return with that top 8 auto qualification spot. So it would be very disappointing, I think, from his end to then just immediately regress back to getting knocked out first in the groups.
Yeah, I agree. On the other hand, it would be a great story for this young rising star, GG Machine, to make his first RSL playoffs and go for a deep run, see how far he can go. This game, we do see it's going to be a hatch first, so he's mixing up his build orders every game. I do like that. We have some variety coming out of him in his build orders.
Variety. I love my variety of slightly different building timings.
Yeah. It does matter, though, for Zerg a lot, but yeah.
I'm trolling.
It's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree though. It's good that he has just kind of got different stuff up his sleeve, because I feel like a lot of times some of the up-and-coming players, they might kind of just default back to certain styles, like one kind of thing that really works well for them, where they can't really mix things up. But it's a good sign when a player is able to just have a couple different, very slight adjustable early game build orders that can just kind of min-max certain scenarios and just be keeping the other players already on their toes. Because, like I said, generally when a veteran goes against an underdog, they kind of maybe are expecting, okay, this is kind of like a one-trick player, most likely. They're not going to have a whole lot of different variations. So the fact that GG Machine is able to bring in all these different things already makes it very difficult to play against him in some of these professional tournaments.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the fact that he's gone pool first and sent 4 lings across the game. Across the map each game. That might leave Bunny to be a little bit more conservative with his Reaper and maybe gets away with the hatch first without taking much damage. But okay, he's going to send it across. I mean, hatch first can deal with the Reaper as long as the barracks is at home just fine. You do have time to get the lings out, which buy time for the queens to come out. So nothing's changed there on the new worker start. It's only when they're proxied or something like crazy like that. Okay, but it is a bit of a longer wait to get the queens out.
Yeah, just need to kind of hide the lings and the drones for now, and we'll just kind of lose one off the rip. Needs to make sure that that drone does not get killed off, especially holding some minerals would be very unfortunate. Everything counts at this point, and he does lose it. Doesn't even return. That's very unfortunate. Everything does count. It's more impactful if you get a kill like that in this patch compared to last, because of course you have so fewer workers. Just losing even a tiny bit there is actually going to make a pretty big difference. So pretty unfortunate that GG Machine loses that there, but again, it's not going to be the end of the world. We'll see what he actually wants to do on this mid-game here.
There's also the emotional damage.
The emotional damage.
Losing a drone to the Reaper,
Gemini. The most important factor, yes, indeed.
Oh, it gets in your brain, man. It feels bad.
Those damn Terran players style on me with their Reapers. They're so slippery.
I know. All right, we got a 3CC build coming out from Bunny. Going to be macroing up here. The Overlord's going to fly in at a very nice timing here. We'll actually go ahead and scout that if he keeps going. Oh, okay, he just turns back. Sees the extra rack, sees the Hellion production and the tech lab, and we'll just go home. I mean, not seeing the 3rd CC isn't the end of the world, but it's always nice, obviously, to get that confirmation. You can drone a little bit harder on 3 bases. This Reaper being annoying, but won't be able to get much more done now that Ling Speed is finished.
Dude, those moopies are rocking out over there.
The what?
Corner, the moopies.
Oh, the boopy?
Yeah, the moopies. Mapu, show me the moopies again. Go me those moopies. Yeah, there they are. Oh, we don't have vision. We can't see them rocking out anymore. Oh, there they are. Dude, look at these guys go.
Oh,
That's like me when I was hearing the sound of that healing shrine last game, dude. That was just really
What are they
jamming out.
watching there?
I don't know what's on the screen. It looks a little
What is
sus.
going on?
Welcome back, everybody. Hero versus Solar, all tied up 1-1. We have got a series, folks, in this best of 5, getting ready to go into game number 3. These have been some very fun matches we've had so far. Not even just the best of 5, but like the individual games. The ZVZ earlier today, now the PVZ between these two. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, no, boring turtley games so far. I mean, I guess Hero was kind of trying for that a little bit last game, but still throws in the aggression here and there, of course, with his interesting style, still going for a lot of those adepts early on. And then Solar, of course, responding with a very aggressive push himself, so still very interesting. And he's actually joined up with the dog. Okay, that's the new gamer strat. Just have your dog on your lap to ease the nerves, just to relax you a little bit. I love that. Okay, very nice.
That is a beautiful dog.
It is a very cute little guy.
It is so fluffy. I don't even know. I don't know what angle. Like, what is it looking at? I have no idea because it's just a ball of floof.
I think it's just looking to the side. Like, we're looking at its ear right now, I think. Yeah, there he is. Aw, so adorable. Hero, where's your pet? Come on. Boring ass room over here.
I read the rules for the RSL, and nowhere does it say a dog can't play StarCraft.
That's a good point.
Is Solar gonna game with the dog? Where are the cameras? We need the player camera, Z. There we go.
Just leave it there the whole time.
Just leave it like this the whole time.
We gotta see.
I don't even want to do the player intros. Let's do the dog intros. What's the dog's name?
On the bottom left-hand side, spotting with the brown fur, it is Solar's dog.
Oh, that's cute. Up at the top left in the blue, we got Hero.
With no dog.
With no dog. Oh, that's great.
A boring, empty room.
Oh man, I haven't had. It's hard in a lot of Korean apartments. My landlords just haven't allowed me to have pets. I've asked many times. I'm like, can I get a cat, please? And no. And I was like, oh. I haven't had a pet. I used to have so many pets when I was younger. I miss having dogs and cats. I feel like it's made me have an even bigger soft spot for them in my heart.
Yeah, I would love to
so
get some
excited.
cats, man. I love cats as well. I've had them all growing up, so very wishing to have a cat eventually again over here in Korea. But actually, okay, hold up. Hero, look at him doing it yet again. I'm really so curious about this because he did this a little bit in the pre-patch as well. Before all the worker changes, he would sometimes, like 1 in, I don't know, like 15 games bring this out. So I really wonder what the thought process is. I feel like it's just like the economy. Like, you just don't have to spend as many resources walking the probe around because you just instantly send it right back to the minerals. So you're losing as little possible mining time as you can. So that seems to be the only real benefit of it. As you can see, he's also not scouting, so it kind of just leans into that fact. He's trying to get as much economy as possible in the early game.
Wow, gamer moment. He knows the timings to check for the first Overlord. That is sick. All right, Hero throwing down the natural expansion. And as you said, I do think greed is a big part of it. Going for a no scout and the gateway and pylon and core all in the main base like this is about as greedy as it can possibly get. You know, like a worker mines, I think it's like 50 or 55 minerals a minute, right around that amount. So, you know, the fact that your probe isn't going all the way down to the ramp to build the gateway, the cybernetics core, all these other things, it's about a mineral a second that you're getting, which, you know, it might be small, but StarCraft 2 played at this top level. Those kind of small things, they add up to something big.
Yeah. Hero definitely trying to just get as much income as possible, and the fact that the way that this map works out with that scouting, you can see he knows he's definitely studied this map up. I mean, it's on the ladder as well, so has probably gotten some good experience there, but knows exactly when that Overlord's coming, so doesn't even need to bother sending the probe out at all. Just gets the scout as to where that Overlord's coming from, knows where his opponent is, and is able to just send the adept right across. Just assuming that Solar would not be going for any early pull, because it's so rare that they do that nowadays.
That's a very good point, actually, because on a 4-player map like this one, why would you go for the early scout if you have a 2 in 3 chance of just wasting it, right? You know, you might as well just confirm based on where the Overlord is coming into natural expansion. So Hero instead with a very greedy opening in terms of probe movement. Now going to try and get some pressure done as the adept will shade into the main base. Seeing only 2 lings there, Hero feels confident enough to allow that shade to complete. We'll take a little bit of hull damage on this adept, but He's been able to take down 1, maybe even 2 or 3 Zerglings. Wow. Not too bad. I mean, it's not a drone, but still 3 Lings. Those have to be remade.
Yeah, I kind of like that that attack as well because, like you said, yeah, you have to remake them. So there's always the chance that you try to target down a drone or 2, but then they just move it away or swap it into the Spore Crawler, so it's more guaranteed damage to kill a couple of Zerglings.
Solar with his dogs right
there.
Oh
my god, you're right. That's insane. Look at that. That was actually,
He's got
that's actually
2
perfect.
of them now.
Yeah. Where's the other one? We didn't even notice the other one. That's crazy. But Hero's actually going to be switching it up and going into a fast Glaives this game as well. So going no Stargate at all, not even going for the Oracle into Glaives like we've seen more commonly recently. It's going to be a straight up 4-gate Glaive opener, which has been very out of the meta for honestly, I feel like a year plus at least.
Yeah, occasionally pre-patch. By pre-patch, I mean like with the 12 workers start, you would get that mixed in, once or twice in any kind of best of 5 series, just because it's a very good greed check on your opponent, just making sure that they always play with the threat of an adept push like this one in the back of their minds. I wonder how much it will be able to get done. And look at this.
He's
Solar
taking
using
the
pneumatic tube.
Look at him go.
This is not Futurama. It doesn't accelerate as it moves through this thing. It actually still moves quite slow. But Solar is going to get the scout off here into the main base. He will spot the Twilight Council, but maybe not if the drone takes a siesta here, the south side of the base. Okay, now coming in. Should be able to see the Twilight Council. Come on, please. Solar finally spots it, but the Adepts are already at the natural expansion.
Well, that would have been a great scout if he did it about 20 seconds earlier, as there's now very few units on the map for Solar. He got that scout on the Twilight Council. He's like, oh, sick, I know exactly. Oh my god, there's a depth in my natural. And he's just killing absolutely everything. The drones in the main base definitely need to run away, as the Shade actually will complete over to the third base. Sad for Hero, because yeah, he didn't actually get any drones. There's just one sitting at that third base. Should have definitely let that stay in the main.
Yeah, or should have gone down to the natural expansion, but I think at this stage in the game, the adept timing, it's hitting so fast, Solar hasn't really had the opportunity to saturate that third base. So not as much damage being found by Hero as should have been, but make no mistake, that was still an excellent opening here.
Yeah, he's going to follow it up with a double Stargate Void Ray follow-up in the +1 air as well. This is something that happened, again, way back during the Void Ray meta in the 2020-2021 era. Whoa, it's Phoenixes. What the?
Whoa.
What? Okay, that is a really cool switch up. Something else that I guess you could do, since it's going to be forcing a lot of Roaches, you can then lift up the Roaches, and that actually ends up doing pretty okay as well. But I really just expected it to just be Void Rays, given how popular they have been recently.
Yeah, but +1 Phoenixes, they actually do chew through units like Roaches and Ravagers very quickly. And this is something that Max Pax was experimenting with a lot at the turn of the new patch, was going for blind 2 Stargate Phoenix, because if it catches your opponent unaware and unscouted, as it is right now, there is no Overlord, no Overseer Scout going into the main base. In fact, the lair just now starts here for Solar.
He's doing it again.
A drone again, and once more the drone's going to get there with a Phoenix move cross map.
It's so funny. I can't believe Hero didn't just put that pylon to the left to block the path. You could block that with a pylon.
Hero doesn't know how to wall.
I know.
You can't wall tubes either, Gemini.
My expectations for the best products in the world are apparently too high. I understand, State.
Well, the Roaches, the Ravagers, I thought for a moment that Solar might just kind of send with this, but in fact, he will just be sitting back at home for now instead of going for more drones. But if the Phoenixes just keep getting churned out like this, going up to, like, say, a dozen or so Phoenixes, maybe even a couple more, then even Hydras aren't really a very good answer to this, because, the Phoenixes, they do bonus damage to the Hydras. As long as they have energy, and as long as the Hydras are in low numbers, the Phoenix are just going to one-shot them with basically every lift.
Yeah, 7 drones in the main base getting killed off is quite nice, but the unfortunate thing is that's a lot of energy that they do not have to now defend this Roach Ravager push. There's still a good amount of units here from Hero, though. Lots of Adepts on the ground, and the Phoenixes will actually force him away, so ends up not being a problem whatsoever. As you can see, even though you wouldn't really think that Phoenixes are that good against Roaches, it's actually a pretty favorable situation for them, because there's no way that they can be attacked. There's no Hydras that will be able to shoot them down from the ground, so you can just pick them up for free and just kill them one at a time. This is actually the situation that you would favor when this strategy was so popular years ago, when they would go for double Stargate Phoenix very often, is you would hope that they're just walking across the map with Roaches, because you just get free kills.
Hero has a lot of Adepts right now, Gemini, and I think he's getting ready to shade here into the third base. Already, a lot of damage has been done. He's going to allow this to complete even on top of those Roaches. Will he tank the Spore Crawler? No, instead going to try and snipe these Queens over here on the flanking side.
That was a bit risky, I would say, from Hero. Very bold move to just shade everything into all of those roaches, but he's still finding some decent damage. 5 drones have gotten killed off so far. It's forcing a lot of units out of Solar to be able to respond to this. There's going to be some more drone deaths in the main base if Hero was focusing them, but unfortunately was not. But does go for a Queen, which is nice to still limit that, of course, because denying all of the injects is still very good from the Protoss perspective.
Yeah, but, you know, Hero, he's been able to kill basically every single Queen. There's only 1 Queen surviving. There are 6 Hydras on the map right now, 10 Phoenixes in total. And the Spore the Spore Crawler coverage is not very good here for Solar. So a lot of Overlords getting sniped, a lot of units also getting sniped there on the ground as the Phoenix is just doing work. I'm also a little bit skeptical about the initial move, shading in on top of the roaches there at the 3rd base. Oof. But, I mean, the Phoenixes, they made the trade so worthwhile by sniping basically all the Queens.
Yeah, that is a great situation here for Hero, just looking at that resources loss tab. Definitely favoring him for now. He is still on 3 bases. He's going to kind of hunker down on those 3 bases for a little bit longer as he gets his fleet beacon and extra gateways up. He's even going into Storm, so he's going to switch back into full ground as well. Just getting that fleet beacon most likely for the Mothership, as that has become such a mainstay in the PvZ matchup as of late. So we'll be going into a full ground switch with some Immortals down on there as well. Just going for a couple of Zealot harassments on the right-hand side to kill off this 4th base, as there's really nothing here to defend this, because you need a lot of those units on the left-hand side with those Hydras to be able to defend the Phoenixes, so he can't really afford to move those around too much.
Yeah, this stage of the game is pretty tough for Zerg on Fear and Faith in my experience. Is right around when you're taking the 4th base, because there's really no good option here as Solar. Either you expand down to the bottom right the way that he's doing right now, and you're in this position where, you know, Hero's natural expansion and Solar's natural expansion, they're quite close, and the 4th base feels very far away. Or you expand towards Protoss opponent, which means the pressure, should Protoss decide to push into you, it's going to be even closer. And so Solar might be struggling a little bit to defend this 4th base. Zero just to find some more damage. Mothership about halfway completed back at home is +2 ground weapons getting started here for Hero. No follow-up air weapon upgrades, by the way, which surprises me. Just stopping right now at +1 air weapons. I guess he wants to really pivot into the ground.
Okay, he wants to make sure that he can get a really bolstered army on the ground there. As of course Storm will be finishing up, so Solar's going to be walking across the map. I feel like he might be a little bit surprised with the fact that there's going to be a bunch of Storms raining down on him as well. A couple more Phoenixes trying to lift up some units here and there, but a good scout on the army movement means that Hero should be very well prepared. Lots of Templar there on the defensive. Could get another recharge onto one of those newly morphed High Templar as well to get even more Storms out, but here comes the first one. Solar definitely doesn't feel too comfortable walking into this small engagement, or small area for this engagement. Going to try to spread it out a little bit, try to get some sort of flank or some sort of counterattack going on the right-hand side. Definitely did not like the look of where that position was.
Yeah, it's a tough angle to attack into there as Solar, but he kind of needs to make something happen. He's only at 66 drones right now. The 4th base, it's mostly for Larva, and it's for drones that are mining out in the main base right now, as Hero's going to isolate these units on the right-hand side, snipe all of the Hydras. The Phoenix and Zealots make quick work of the Roaches and Ravagers. And now Solar, he's going to try and dive into the natural, but I don't think there's enough army here for him.
Oh, and the recall as well is going to make it so Solar can...
It's 3 Zealots.
It's 3 Zealots. Okay, that's the most Hero recall I've ever seen in my life, but that's okay, because there's a bunch of Storms absolutely obliterating everything anyway, and the recall basically just forced him away, so the scare tactic of the recall at least
honestly
helped him out there.
The Phoenix can almost solo this army on their own right now. Storms raining down from above. GG is called, and Hero with a very different game number 3. Able to bring us to match point right now. It is 2-1 in Hero's favor in this best of 5. That was a cool build.
Yes, and Solar's dog unfortunately falling there on Fear and Faith. Very sad. He was playing that whole time, as you saw in the cam at the end there. He was still on the lap.
Was he really?
He was there the whole time.
I got tunnel vision on the game
whatsoever.
That is a good dog.
Yes, that is a very well-trained dog that Solar's got there. Not making a nuisance. Knows when Dad is at work. Just giving a little bit of support there on the lap. But yeah, very well-crafted game, I would say, from Hero. I love the play that he went for. The very fast glaives coming very quickly. and catching Solar off guard, and is trying to snowball it with the Phoenix afterwards and kind of forcing Solar into the style that he was doing so poorly with in the series they played earlier today. That Roach Hydra style was not working well for Solar at all in that series, and that game, you can see why. Hero really was able to defend it super well once it got into that stage.
Yeah, but he got so much damage done with the Phoenixes early on, you know? I'm not sure. I agree with you that the Roach Hydra isn't the best versus a lot of the styles that are popular in the meta right now. But Hero got so much done with the Claves, and then so much done with the Phoenix, which I think really blindsided Solar. It blindsided even us. We saw the 2 Stargates, and even seeing the 2 Stargates, we thought it was going to be Void Rays, right?
Yeah.
Like, we could see absolutely everything, and we're not expecting the 2 Stargate Phoenix coming in from Hero. It's a tactic that he very rarely mixes into his PvZ, but let me just say, I came into today a little bit sad about PvZ in general, and it's only been 3 games.
State. Oh, so
it's
sad.
only been 3 games, and I know the series isn't over yet. I'm saying even if Hero loses this one, I love the games that I'm seeing from him. These have been some really fun matches. This makes me want to go home, get on the ladder, maybe take some of those RSL replays and siphon some builds.
From the Patreon for only $10 a month. What a bargain.
It's been a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see what Game 4 and potentially Game number 5 have in store for us, as I really hope Solar brings us there.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be great to see the full 5 games from both of these players. They've been giving us quite a treat so far in this series. Hero's not going to be going for that super fast gateway in the main base this time. Going to be going for a normal pylon at the natural this time, just bringing it back to standard. So we'll see what he's got cooked up this time. Hero, of course, just someone that comes out with so many different builds. Very unique player. We're always wondering what exactly he's going to do. It never feels like he will do the same thing twice in a series. And this time it really looks like he might also be switching it up, because it looks like he's saving up money to go for a Nexus first.
It'll be Nexus first here for Hero. Hatch first for Solar.
Solar's dog. Sorry.
Solar's dog, yeah, excuse me. and Hero, once again, going for the no scout opening. If I'm not mistaken, that's 3 out of 4 games, I think, that he's gone for no scout versus Solar.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit. Usually you have it maybe like half of the games you mix in. But in theory, in a lot of these games where there was no scout, if Solar had gone for an early pull, he could have just taken the game from Hero.
Yeah.
It's a very real risk that you run going for these no scout openings, but Hero just getting I don't want to say lucky, because there is a lot of strategy that goes into this in terms of how you plan to deploy the builds, but it's been fortunate for him that Solar hasn't tried to check this.
I think this is great calculated greed. I mean, so few Zerg players, even with the new patch and with the new timings and whatnot, they're still so rarely going for those early pools. So it's a great calculated play to make from Hero's perspective, just knows that Solar doesn't really prefer those types of styles and is really just coming away with some great advantages in these early games because of all of these really greedy builds that he's been deploying.
So Nexus first into just 1 lone gateway. Not going to be a 2-gate opening here for Hero, at least not yet. Let's go some Cybernex core behind this. And I wonder where we're going to go from here, because the gas, or not the gas first, excuse me, the Nexus first usually means that you're not going to have quite as much gas, I would think. But the rate at which he took those 2 assimilators, I guess it feels different right now going in with the 8-worker start versus the 12-worker start. Most of my wires are crossed right now, honestly.
I'm not really sure how it works out with the income.
Yeah, if it's not something that I've been doing in my ladder games, it's kind of just a big question mark. And Nexus first, I probably tried this once or twice and got like 8 pulled.
This is not a ladder build. You do not just try to rip this one and bring it to ladder. This will get you many more losses than wins.
303. That feels pretty quick still relatively. I think it's, what, 246, I want to say, that like a Stargate usually gets thrown down around then. Huh. All right, so not too delayed here on the Stargate. Solar's been going into the pretty fast 3rd hatchery. Hero, excuse me, going to be coming out with a Stalker. He did cancel the Zealot, by the way, right?
Yeah, I believe he did.
That explains the situation here in the main.
Yeah. 2 Lings going to try their darndest to get a probe, but the Stalker will find its way up here, so should not lose anything whatsoever. So nice little mini crisis management there from Hero. Nothing too crazy, of course. Even keeps the probe alive that was scouting, so very nice from him. We'll just throw it on that 2nd gateway to make sure he's nice and walled up at the front, and then, of course, we'll be safe to take that 3rd base once he does decide to do so. Around the 4-minute mark or so is when you normally would see it, as that probe does start to make its way across. Oh, okay, then we're at the pylon. Well, he'll get that eventually.
Yeah, I was pretty skeptical about that wall until that pylon got through down there.
Yeah,
so
man, Hero
looks a lot better.
You never know with him, man. Sometimes he just lets it happen. It's just like, I'm just going to vibe this time. I don't care if there's a massive hole there.
All right, so first Oracle about to pop right now. That should allow Hero to secure this 3rd base. It's pretty fast there. Nexus coming in here for Hero. It's not as greedy as it could possibly be, but the fact that he's doing this on the back of a Nexus first, you know, he's already gotten away with a fair bit of greed.
Yeah, doesn't want to go too crazy with it. A couple of Zerglings going to find their way across to just get the scout and just see if they can maybe find their way through the gap, as of course Hero, if anyone, you can definitely get that done against pretty easily. Spore Crawler going to get morphed over at the third base, but nice little choice to target it down. We'll actually kill it, so I think that's a pretty worthwhile use of the energy for right now, as of course the Double Queen was in the natural to be able to defend against it there. So finding whatever he can over here, even attacking that hatchery just to assert a little dominance.
You don't want to turn off the beam. It's 25 energy to reactivate it, so just kind of let that thing keep running until you're certain you can't get any more damage done. And some nice moves. You know, Solar was pretty buttoned up there on the defense, but Hero was still able to get 3 drone kills in total. This Oracle was trying to get a little bit more, catching the drones, transferring down into that third hatchery, but instead it's going to have to settle for a couple of creep tumors. And that still is helpful. You know, it's less transfuses later should Solar try to go for a push. It's also possibly delayed injects. At the very least, it slows down the creep spread, so some nice moves coming out from Hero.
He's going for this Adept follow-up yet again with Warp Gate finished. You get those out really quickly from the gateway, so will go into this yet again, gets a lot of them. Goes into a Forge behind it as well. Not quite a Twilight Council. It will be the very fast Fleet Beacon, so yeah, still favoring those very fast Mothership transitions. We don't have the second Stargate just yet, and since there's a Forge on the map as well, it's very likely it will just be that super fast Mothership, but I never really know when it comes to Hero. Regardless, here come those couple Adepts, gonna find their way into a Zergling surround. That is a nice reaction from Solar.
Yeah, Solar got a pretty good surround, but Hero also making the best out of a bad situation using the architecture of the map to try and reduce the surface area. I kind of expected these Oracles to try and find a path to join up with those Adepts. Maybe those Queens actually parry them away from joining in, because that's what makes the move like an Adept Shade like that work, right? Is having the Oracles fly in to assist, but instead Solar able to defuse the situation very well.
Yeah, Zergling's going to try to do some sort of counter damage. We'll just settle for a cannon, as there are plenty of defenses. Otherwise, Oracle's going to be drawn back as well. But yeah, that's going to be an easy defense for Hero. But now we'll also send 3 more Adepts into the natural. This is what Solar was not expecting after killing so many Adepts earlier. Didn't really think there would be another 3 finding their way so quickly over here. We'll be able to get 4 or 5, potentially a few more drones. But nice micro. Wow, very good from Solar to keep those away for now. But unfortunately, just kind of lets off the gas there and just, they all die anyway. 7 in total.
I thought he was going to cancel his carrier, but now I'm beginning to believe that Hero's actually going to allow this one to complete. And it's going to get scouted immediately. I'm not sure you can get away with this right now as Hero, but perhaps... Did he scout actually the Hydralisk Den with those Adepts? He must have, right? I think the carrier play can work versus Hydras. If Solar had a Spire, though, this would be something that would be very scary for me, Gemini.
Yeah, he did get the scout on that Hydra Den, so that's very good. Tons of gateways getting produced as well in the natural, so Hero's really just getting all the production possible, even that second Stargate. Yeah, it's very interesting that he's going into this just like 1 carrier at a time transition before really anything else, still getting, getting charge and +1, so a really ragtag looking army coming out from Hero, is he's really just going to try to hunker down on 3 bases for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's a mighty supply block. I was wondering why he wasn't making any more carriers. Like, is he only just going to make the 1? Oh, we'll see after these 5 pylons are finished. Nope, there's 2 more. All right, well, these carriers, unfortunately for Hero, are going to be a little bit delayed. And that might come to fruition. That might have an impact on this game later on, because Solar, he's gearing up for a very strong timing attack here. The Overlord's even coming in to set up a creep highway. The Queens are walking. The Overlords will drop the creep that will allow the Queens to transfuse here on the front line. And Hero actually identifies this. He knows the carriers now will not be done in time. He cancels them. He's going to spend all of that money instead on gateway units. Unfortunately, no Storm. I don't even know if we have a Templar Archives for Archons here. So this 1300 gas that Hero's got, he doesn't have an effective way to spend it. And instead, he just has to go for the fight.
Yeah, Time Warp's going to get thrown down, which is really good. So the charge slot just get right on top of absolutely everything.
Yeah,
the Hydra's just disappeared.
There was no overseer. There was no overseer for the mothership. I'm like 99% sure.
Look at Solar, he's laughing in the cams as well.
There was
There's
no detection.
nothing to see it. Oh my God, Solar just was not expecting this mothership to be here so early.
That fight should never have been so one-sided for Hero. But there was no detection there in the front line. Solar had no choice but to pull back, and it's just... Oh, it's a catastrophe there for Solar. Those were slow Hydras, not even having muscular augments researched, trying to retreat away from cloak speed Zealots. Oh no, it looked like Solar was really cooking with that timing attack, especially when you saw those carriers have to get canceled. 1300 gas floated with no Templar archives, but the cloak from the mothership saved the day.
Oh man, that is a Protoss player's wet dream right there for a series. Good Lord, Hero
Wow.
with the 3-1 victory. And yeah, that's what we call Protoss, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
Solar
that is...
got Protoss right there. And I'm not exactly upset about it.
I'm a little bit...
Oh, come on. If that happened in your ladder game, you would be frothing at the mouth.
Of course, but I'm not playing a ladder game right now. I want to see a cool fight. I guess that was pretty cool, but...
That was sick. I love that.
Oh, well, I guess that's the way it's going to go right now. Hero taking the 3-1 victory over Solar. Will advance into the upper bracket semifinal. Solar, he is not out of the RSL. He will fall to the lower bracket. Kind of a painful way to go. I'm not going to lie. Not having an overseer there. He knew about the mothership, too. It's just, I'm sure he had an overseer somewhere on the map, just didn't have it there with the army. I mean, that is just an unfortunate way to end a game, to end a series there for Solar.
Yeah, definitely not the way he was expecting that particular engagement to go. So hitting a bit of a brick wall, unfortunately. But like you said, he's not out. He will be into the lower bracket as Hero will find his way forward. The Protoss Sole Survivor has found his way one round further. Can he actually make it all the way to the finals and win it all again anyways?
We'll see. Now, I would love to see Hero in the finals once more, just for having the variety of all the different races represented here. He's the only Protoss player remaining, so it would be kind of tragic to have him be eliminated so early. So in that sense, it's very exciting to see Hero played on. And let me just say, based on the games that he played so far today versus Solar and also in the group stages, he's looking really good. He's looking like he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. I forgot the way the saying goes.
Under his pants.
I'm excited for whoever he's going to play against. Hero versus Rogue will be great. Hero versus Lambo will be great. That's going to be a spectacular match no matter which way it shakes out. Lambo has been on a tear recently. I've been watching his stream a ton. I don't know if he's still rank 1 on the EU ladder, but he's just been absolutely killing it.
Yeah, he's been very good lately, and honestly, I feel like he could definitely go pretty far, especially if he gets a lot of ZVZs. Here is the schedule that we have for the rest of the season. Of course, today's the 25th. We got more matches coming up tomorrow, and then the next 2 weeks after that. And then the Grand Finals is happening live at BlizzCon. It's going to be a wonderful match, hopefully. It's going to be casted by Tastosis, who is going to be over there for the Classic Cup. They're going to be doing the RSL Grand Finals as well. There's also going to be the actual offline finals, which is a totally separate thing, which is maybe a little bit confusing if you're not exactly sure. We messed up with that naming a little bit, but you know, it's a little bit confusing. But regardless, that will be happening as well. So that's
more
cool.
more offline finals. Nothing's wrong with that, Gemini. So take a look here at the broadcast timetable. We're starting a little bit earlier this season, 1 hour earlier, 6 p.m. KST as opposed to 7 p.m. KST. 6 plus 1 is 7. I can't believe I forgot that for a second.
That is true.
And look at the timetables. If you're in Scott South Pole, 9 p.m. NZST, or if you're a Kiwi, you know, it's a pretty easy breakdown right there.
Hello to all my South Polians. I hope you guys are doing really good down there. How
is
the
that an
Penguins?
acclimature for somebody?
Absolutely,
I guess
it is.
Has anyone ever actually been born in the South Pole? I would suppose not, right?
There's no one actually lives down there. It's just like they have like
people. I mean, they're like
centers.
permanent research centers.
Yeah, but I don't think they actually live there year round or anything. You know. Yeah.
In any case, we hope that you tune in live. If you can't, make sure you tune in to the VODs online. And also, a big shout out to our official partner here for StarCraft 2. It is Archon Studios. They're making the official StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. And let me just say, these miniatures, they look fantastic. When I came in today, Ziggy was showing off, what was it, the Nidus Swarm looked really good. I was very impressed with the Queen in particular. It was very swarmy, it was very buggy, it was a little bit terrifying. I was a bit grossed out. It was awesome. It was everything that Zerg
Were you
should be.
shivering in your boots there, State, when you saw that thing?
As a Protoss player, I wanted to activate oracles and zap it. But no, really, they have just been awesome. They've been with RSL from the very beginning. Go to StarCraft-TMG.com and check them out. Sign up for the newsletter. Take a look at their merchandise. Even if you don't want to play the tabletop miniatures game, which actually is a game that you can play, there's an online guide for it, which is awesome. There are still just great figures to collect.
Absolutely. It would also be cool if you could support us on Patreon. This is how we are supporting and just funding this event and all of the events that we've done so far. You guys have been awesome over there. We would love to earn some more of your support as well. So go ahead, check that out. Vote on players, maps to get into the next seasons. You can get replays. If you want to, copy all these builds so that way you know what to do on this new 8-worker patch, you can get those from the Discord, or not the Discord. Well, you actually can get them from there too. I do put the links in there, but you can get it from the Patreon. Yes, I put the links for everything.
I didn't know that. I'm
so
learning.
if you don't want to just look at the Patreon.com, you can just go into the Discord as well. So it's great.
I'm going to be doing that. That's so much easier. So many perks.
So many perks.
Oh my goodness, it just keeps
such
getting
a little
better.
amount of money. Oh, it's such value.
Speaking of perks, if you're a Patreon supporter, tastelessthreads.com will net you a 20% discount on Tasteless TV merch. And it's not just Tastosis merch and Tasteless merch. There's also a bunch of RSL merch, so make sure you check it out.
Oh, yeah. And check out our YouTube. Make sure you guys can help us to get into the algorithm. We are doing really nice over there as well. We've been really appreciative of all the people that are subscribing and smashing all of those buttons over there, but we would love to see it grow even more. We are still minuscule in the terms of StarCraft YouTubers. We want to be bigger than Hearthstone, Loco, Winter, Wardy, all of them combined.
Good luck to us.
We want to be the StarCraft YouTube, so help us get there. Smash that like button and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the day. This was a spectacular day one here of the RSL playoffs. I must say, Gemini, it feels very good to be back here at the RSL casting with you. I missed you guys very much. And any closing thoughts?
No, just great to have you back from Caster Purgatory State. It's been really fun to have you here, and I hope you guys enjoy it the rest of the couple of days that we have for the playoffs.
It's good to be back. We'll see you again tomorrow with more RSL action.